rebranded, got a new paint job, found a couple new players, but they have always been there, and they have always been a namesake in every household of mlbb and A. And I mean, you couldn't really ask for a better way to finish off this season. You couldn't ask for a better way to kind of put the cherry on top of the cake here. And I'm just hoping that it lives up to the hype right now.
Yeah, and hyping up both teams, let's take a look at what our casters predicted for this series. I am expecting what I see on the stream. It does seem like our casters don't want to doubt the Kings. It's a unanimous decision for BTK. I want to hear more from Trex and Private what you think about this roster.
I mean, there is a history behind voting against BTK at the finals. I think a lot of us have learned our lessons that when it's all down and out, it's hard to count them out. Area 77 has a huge mountain to climb, but if any team can do it, I believe it could be them.
Yeah, it's I mean, you don't gamble against BTK in the grand finals. You just don't do it. We've seen them come back from 0-3s and we've seen them reverse sweeps. We've seen them continuously defy the odds, and for the first time in a while, they are the favorites. You know, most for the last couple NACTs, they came in as the underdog, and you still don't want to vote against them. But this time, they are the favorites. Area 77 are the underdogs. So I mean, it's tough to put your money on Area 77 here.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. BTK, they have such a diverse hero pool. Every single player is one of the best of the region and a top contender in the international scene, so we don't want to doubt against them. And a best out of 7 series compared to what we had so far, best out of 3s and best out of 5s, really have to put your hero pool and your diverse skills to the test.
I think it goes without saying for both of these teams, this clash here at the grand finals is going to be unlike anything they have faced this year, especially in these playoffs yet. So both of them need to make sure that they're putting in that 110%. We've already heard the little rumors, well, not really a rumor, but Shark even talked about them having Sir Rose on their team to be able to kind of add that little diversity to their hero pools and some of their drafts. And we're wondering, is Area 77 prepared for that?
Yeah, and I mean, with that preparation, if you can look at BTK, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, they had a harder run through the bracket. They faced against other veterans. They've been, honing their steel over the past 2 days. Area 77 has also been sweeping teams, but it just seems like it was a slightly easier. They haven't been getting their push-ups in, and right now they're getting thrown in with the Wolves right now. They're getting thrown in with the Kings, and I just hope that they're ready, because BTK, I mean, yesterday's match, even though it was a 3-0, it felt like a grand finals match.
Yeah, and today is actually the grand finals match, and our first match of the day is ready. So casters, take us into this draft.
Ooh, and this is going to be the exciting one. I know we've both been waiting to see what we're going to have, especially when it comes out to the draft. There's a few little things that we've noticed about BTK, what they've been sticking with when it comes to the bottom brackets. We've seen the Selena pulled out by Hoon. We've seen the Kimmy pulled out by Zia, which has been to great effect. Is there something that we're going to have on the line from Area 77 to possibly counteract some of those picks?
I mean, I think we're looking at a best of 7, so we're looking at, the distance. We're looking at a lot of possibilities. I think it's a high chance Area 77 could let the Selena fall through first, right? And they want to get maybe trade up for something in the assassin range where they can get to that backside and target down onto Hoon. But no, forget that. We're going to target immediately. And they're on the blue side, so I think it's a smart ban.
Yeah, and this is something I've talked about too. I've been a little disappointed in the meta because that mid position has been kind of taken up by a lot of heroes that don't require a lot of like micro and technical mechanical ability, and Hoon really shines in all of that. I feel like he hits a ceiling too soon when you stick him on heroes like Aurora, like a Vexana or something, things that don't require a lot of movement. With Selena, he's been able to shine with that, so it's a very smart way to go ahead and take that off, to kind of clip out the wings of one of the strongest mids in North America.
I mean, and it gives him, he can play it as a support, he can play it aggressive in the early game, and what else this does is forcing something like Selena into the ban pool opens up heroes like the Jushians, opens up, you know, other meta mid picks to be traded for. It forces A77 to ban something out that maybe they could save for the Joy, save for the, you know, some of these other important picks that we're seeing, and it makes the draft even more interesting for BTK, especially when they're on red side.
Yeah, interesting thing here, I want to say Matilda is still out there in the open. Matilda and Harith have been two picks that have been super prime when it comes to professional play, but here, I want to say the Esmeralda has come onto the scene with great success that has made a lot of teams like really kind of step back when it comes to those immediate Matilda and Harith pickups. It's like, oh, do we have a counter for that? Are we ready to take on an Esmeralda that has been like this huge counter? Still have a Joy out there as well, which has been a prio pickup, especially when you don't have a counter, when you don't have that that aggression to be able to take her out in the early game. But they're going to go straight with the Jawhead first.
And this is something that BTK against Vendetta, it was getting banned all series. A lot of teams, you know, well, at least 3 teams, A77, BTK, and Vendetta, have been prioing this Jawhead. We didn't see it at all yesterday, and today in this grand finals, it is the first pick up. And I mean, Baj on it, that's signature for him. Best player is going to lock in the Joy and the Kalea for BTK.
Yeah, and we've seen how quickly in the early game that Jawhead can be effective. He gets in, he's able to use that ejector to throw somebody back right from the beginning of the game. So and then the amount of damage that he can output is immense. I do like the Kalea pickup with the Joy. You do have a little bit of early game protection, something that can probably help the Joy, especially with the Kalea, the way that she's able to lock in, get that CC, and maybe even turn around an unstoppable force from Jawhead as he dives into your team line. You can snatch him up and bring him even further back into enemy territory.
And it just links together the matchup of Shark versus Baj. You know, we've seen it before. Shark said himself, last time he saw Baj in the grand finals, Shark lost. One of the first times we've seen Shark lose to another roamer. And Baj, you know, he's debatable, but I think in terms of aggression, he can match what Sharks brings. I like this Hayabusa pick. It's a good counter to the Joy. It's one of the few heroes left that can still 1v1 the Joy, and then you get some range to kind of round out this composition with the Farza.
Yeah, we've even seen it when it came to the tournaments with some of the split pushing going on. When it's a Hayabusa taking on a Joy, the Hayabusa can just do so much damage, scales just a little bit faster to be able to get that split pushing. Hayabusa taking on a Joy, the Hayabusa can just do so much damage, scales just a little bit faster to be able to get that split pushing in a little bit more. Hoon here going with the Lu Yi, one of my favorite mage pickups just because of the presence it brings for a team all around the map.
And this is a comfort pick for Hoon. And this is what I mean by like the Selena's, this is what we meant by hero pool, right? Because this is a hero that back in M6, teams were banning against Hoon because they knew this was like signature. This is not something you want to deal with. This is prime Hoon right here. And this isn't even what a lot would consider the, you know, the S tier meta right now. But seeing that pick come in is scary.
Yeah, and really interesting too is because we banned out the Selena, which I want to say is one of the big kind of counters to the Lu Yi, because the Selena can put down her traps, and that helps you get the vision. When you have a Lu Yi on the enemy team, everywhere is a threat. Even if you just check a bush, you have to be ready, because she could be placing her ultimate in there at any moment to get the jump on your team. We continue here into the second banning phase. We have the Fanny taken off alongside the Phoveus, as well as the revamped Glue.
Yeah, so I mean, EXP laners from both sides really limiting down onto Fried Chicken and Yureshi, but one thing to point out, right? I'm not counting out. We haven't seen BTK do it, but the Kalea has been flexed over into the EXP lane by a few teams. So BTK does have that option, and I think Fried Chicken would play it wonderfully. And the fact that they're banning out the EXP lanes here shows that, like, listen, if we want, we can still slot in another roam here. And like the Matilda's still open. There's still options out there, especially with the Esmeralda ban. There could definitely be a Matilda pickup just to kind of spice things up.
I mean, technically, the Kalea has been flexed into the jungle role too, but
Yeah,
I'm not
that
sure
is
we
true.
want to talk about that. I'm not sure we want
We
to
don't
talk
speak
about
of that. We don't speak of that.
Granger's going to be the pickup for Zia here on the BTK side. Still waiting for Area 77's reply.
First Granger of NACT top 8 bracket so far. We've been kind of wondering, is he meta or not, and who better to show us than Zia, so I like it. The Moskov did get banned out as the last ban for Area 77, so they still need a gold laner, they still need an EXP laner, and BTK leaves themselves with this great last spot because they still have flexibility. They can go for roam, they can go for EXP lane. They're in a good position in overall of draft right now.
I mean, right now you still have, I believe, the Harith, you still have the Irothel, which have been like these big counters in the past when it comes to facing a Granger. Granger did face a few nerfs just recently in the most recent patch, but he's still kind of had this just immense ability to scale. And we all know from Zia that he has this ability, despite his team, to be able to be successful in that gold lane, no matter how his team is going. Here, we see ISO gonna pick up that Wan.
Yeah, the Wan, and then the Hilda, super clean, but the last pick from BTK, the Cho, which is going to go into the hands of Shark. Fly Chicken takes the Kalea, so the swap happens, which is, I mean, again, this is so much targeting now down onto Hunter on this Farza. Even the Granger pick, you have the range, you have the poke. Hunter's going to have a hard time here. It is going to be a tough game for him. So many things can just buckle down on him every single time that Feathered Airstrike comes out.
Well, yeah, and even trying to protect Hunter, you try to stand in front of him, you're basically a lightning rod for Hoon on the Lu Yi, who can connect his passive with, that has such a wide berth of area that it can affect and get that CC on. So it's gonna be a big job for Area 77 to try and protect that Farja.
All right, so let's jump into game number 1 of the North America Challenges Tournament Grand Finals. This is Area 77 up against Bloodthirsty Kings Private. What do we got to look out for in this early game?
I mean, this early game, we have seen that BTK can sometimes be a little lackadaisical in the early game. They do wait for those power spikes. They do sometimes have a little bit of a losing when it comes to some of those objectives in the early game. When it comes to that mid, that 6 minute, 8, when BTK starts hitting those power spikes, when they start getting those items, that is when the real lethality happens. And it's tested on how well your Nobar was at the beginning. Here, both teams looking very safe. They understand how dangerous both of these teams are.
And look at the rotations from Yureshi already. You know, on the note of Area 77, this is the same exact mid trio that we saw yesterday, I think in game 1 or 2, and it is fast. You have the wings by wings, you have the ejector. Joybaj and Hunter are going to be able to move and make moves quickly, but Shark as well on this Cho, best player. I mean, it is a fast-moving early game from both teams.
You see them dancing around their Shark. Both roams here. These are just world-class roams here who understand the information they're giving to each other, what they need to do. You see Joybaj doesn't get baited into using his ejector on Shark just yet. He knows what target he needs to have and is not going to be taken for a run here.
What's funny, too, is the ego that we saw from Baj yesterday, hanging out nonstop on the opposite side of the river when he played Jawhead, is no longer there. He's a bit more patient, but here comes Shiro. Look for a possible play. Joybaj does get knocked up, but both teams seem to disengage. Area 77 don't want to push their limits just yet.
Yeah, a lot of respect from both of these teams to go ahead and back off from that fight so early. Joybaj still, you can see that. It's not ego, though. He just understands the attacks.
Yeah, Tsunami Slam does come down. A lot of damage. Best player able to take the turtle. First blood, though, on to best player Hunter. Able to find Fly Chicken. 2 fall from the side of BTK. It's a turtle for 2. Feels like a good trade for Area 77.
Yeah, and I wonder, this is what we've talked about. The early game of BTK does sometimes lack before they're able to get that ball rolling. The problem is once they hit that power spike, you need to make sure that you've been turning these kills into something. Have you been able to get towers? Have you been able to get some of these turtles? Right now, we're just looking at the kills for them. They do have a little bit of the lead. Can they maintain that?
And one thing you have to be careful for, man, the early game damage from Jawhead, when those with the ejector and the missiles coming out, it is surprising. So you not only have a decent tank in mid to late game, but in those first few minutes, you have a nice damage dealer. He's essentially a fighter, so he's chunking out, and you have to be careful with that first and second turtle going against him. BTK maybe kind of underestimating what Area 77 brought here.
Yeah, so we're taking a look at the items right now. You do see that just narrowly ahead. Oh, another engagement.
Big way of the dragon onto Baj. Baj does go down. Best player able to get the kill. It's going to be important after taking that last death.
Yeah, and a great thing here, and this is the thing I'm talking about. That kill effectively pushed these minions into the tower. It's not huge. Oh, we do have another to fight.
He's okay. He's okay.
But that is just a taste, just a little crumb of what is to come from whom on this Lu Yi. He's going to be coming from all different directions.
Yeah, I mean it's just, and literally we're only at 3 minutes in, and I think Hoon is not a stingy person when it comes to that ultimate. When it comes to the diversion, he's willing to pop it every time it's open just to look for plays in the map.
Yeah, and especially with the synergy that he has with those teammates that he's been playing for years together with, you know they're going to be ready. You know they're going to be in that diversion to be able to kind of get that flank onto the enemies. So it's something that Area 77 is going to need to be aware of.
White Chicken makes the call for the airstrike, does come down though. Baj just trying to get away, but look at the damage on his Shark. Hunter able to pick up another kill. Now White Chicken a little bit of trouble, down to about 10%, taking out Hunter with the double. Zia trying to clean things up, gets the Destinat off, but Hunter with the Wings by Wings is able to get away, and Area 77 comes out on top once again in the team fight.
They come out on the team fight, but again, this objective looking a little bit more in the favor of BTK. Like I said, they do their best to kind of hang on in that early game. We're just waiting to see, is Area 77 going to be able to choke them out? Zia's in a little bit of trouble.
Zia's going to be in trouble here. Zia not going to be able to get away. ISO picks up the kill. That's another one, and after taking that turtle, BTK almost evened it out, but now Area 77 starting to push a little forward.
Yeah, and it's starting to widen that gap right now. Shark going in, trying to get the protection from Joybaz there. Yureshi doubling up on the backside. 5-1 right now, and an ultimate down, so they're not going to have that diversion from Hoon.
I don't know if anyone expected this. I'm sure the Area 77 fans expected this, but coming in this strong against BTK is a good first foot to be stepping on. Now stealing the camp away from BTK's jungle. A little bit of a 1v1 down to the boss side. Best player versus Shiro. Shiro down to about half health. Not quite enough items locked in yet to really take out that Joy.
I love that they both go at each other. They both activate their ultimates at the same time, and then they both separate, realizing, all right, we're not going to be able to settle this just yet. BTK. Oh, nice little ambush prepared there as they're hiding in there, but Shiro able to read it out.
A good steal from best player, and that's where BTK always continue to be proactive on the map. It's like, yes, you could take some kills, but we're going to come for your orange buff. Yes, you might be able to get a lead, but we're always going to find some play somewhere else to even out the playing field.
Oh, and just as we were talking about it being even, they clash again off screen, and Shiro able to get the best of best player.
Yeah, and for a second there, last fight, it was looking like best player had the advantage, but this is what we mean when we say the Hayabusa kind of is one of the few junglers right now who can really deal with the Joy.
Yeah, and that's just something, a big problem there, especially having the Joy out there. Hayabusa, it's kind of working against yourself right now. Great job by Shark and Joybaz getting the vision, feeding that information to their partners. Ooh, we have a Way of the Dragon, potentially.
They are going to back off. Big Tsunami Slam does land. A lot of damage. Feather Airstrike coming out. You're actually able to get the flicker away, able to just escape. ISO trying to target down on a White Chicken, but here comes Shark looking for a target as well. Best player doesn't know which way to go. BTK back off.
Man, I was just about to say, oh, we do have a diversion coming out. Shiro.
Watch for the play. Watch for the play. Shiro to bad spot. Shiro still to get the turtle. Doesn't go down, and now they're responding back. Best player on the run, and here comes Shiro looking for the target. Best player gets the kill. So they lose the turtle, but find the jungler. It's back and forth. The tower does go down on the backside. Bloodthirsty Kings got to do something to even out the playing field.
Yeah, they're just narrowly, Area 77 just narrowly holding on to this 1K lead. And you can see, as I was talking about before, when it comes to being able to get these objectives, BTK just doing just a little bit of a better job right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely still a stalemate. It's nasty. I mean, they're going back and forth in the fights. Area 77 are kind of winning out in these big 5v5s, but this is where the experience really plays off for a team like BTK.
Yeah, and amazing thus far. Especially, I want to say they've done a great job of Hunter being able to work on his management of his spacing, where he is on the map, not to get himself too close to some of these fights. He hasn't been picked off as much as we thought he would.
Oh, big play onto Baj. ISO in a bad spot, trying to retarget, looking for Hoon, looking for the possible crossbow. Tang is able to get the kill, still hasn't popped the crossbow. Hunter able to find one. ISO does finally drop. It's a 2-for-1 right now. BTK looking to keep up the fight, evening the playing field by taking out Joy Baj. Yureshi with the conceal, trying to run away. Tower does drop on the boss side. It is still a tied game.
Oh, man, and able to get some kills off there as well. Best player able to dive into that back line. Ooh, they're going ahead and put some damage onto Shark. He's not really scared, especially with his Cho. He's very comfortable on it. It's a that he has been known for. As we take a look at some of the items.
I mean, taking a look at the items, taking a look at the gold, Hunter is starting to escape a little bit above Hoon here, and I think coming down to the mages, both of them are going to be playmakers in this. Taking a look at the jungle, I mean, levels still at even overall. Best player actually hit 13 first, and one of the things that he's really taking advantage on, you can see it, he's the one who's kiting to these off lanes. He's the one who's picking up extra gold. By earlier it was bot lane, now we're seeing him go up to top lane, and it's also giving Zia the advantage of being able to be part of more of these team fights.
Yeah, and be part of these team fights is exactly what he wants to do. Now we are at a stalemate right here as the Lord is both teams looking. The best player trying to get himself some maneuverability, trying to get from the side to make sure that he's able to kind of get that flank. And you see Shiro reads the terrain right now. He's going to try to get that split push in as well.
Yeah, so both, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is peak mlbb. This is Lord dancing right here. You know, a little bit, maybe an early feathered airstrike there. Is BTK going to take advantage of that? Maybe go for the play. We keep on seeing that diversion, the possibility of it pop up. But wait a second. Baj does get caught. A lot of damage coming in from Zia. He's able to get the kill. That's one man down for Area 77, and Lord still up.
What a great peak conceal play out there coming from Shark. The entire team's diversion coming out. I'm not sure that that's one that they want. It was right on top of Shiro, and not too much of a surprise there. So they do back up, but they are at a severe disadvantage. Another big suppression coming out there. Fly Chicken dives onto Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter's just having trouble, man. I think that's why he's popping these feathered airstrikes so early, because it's, wait a second, Hoon in the backside getting targeted down from Yureshi, but now Yureshi caught off guard. Damage coming in from Zia. Yureshi still up, just trying to get away. Shiro able to take out best player. Zia finds Yureshi, but that is a jungler off the map, and Lord still down. Does Area 77 finally try to make the play?
Yeah, and it looks like the advantage there is going to go to Area 77. They're able to take down best player. That's going to be a retribution they're not going to have for this. Shark still standing by. He's not afraid. A feathered airstrike is out. Chicken on the side, and Shiro able to very cleanly clean up that Lord.
Man, I mean, Area 77 is playing this well right now. Shiro's just on an anime fight battle, constantly looking for best player. He knows his objective right now, whereas BTK, they seem a little bit more spread out, like, who do we go for? We can't catch Shiro right now, and it's tough if we only take out Baj. You know, if they're targeting everyone else, then best player's just caught with his head cut off somewhere.
Yeah, and I want to say we're kind of, I was going to say we're looking for
big
Zia.
Toss, big grab, ISO finds Zia. The Tsunami Slam does come back, but Baj already did his job. He already did what he needed. That's one down, and Lord's still coming.
Oh, and that is so unfortunate with the first Lord coming crashing at your base. I was just about to say, Zia is 1K ahead of the enemy marksman, and Shiro able to take down Hoon as the Lord crashing at the base.
Hoon just disappeared. The man is gone. He's a myth right now. As Shiro continues to dominate on the map. ISO now pushing in onto this tower. It's going to fall soon. Area 77 is broken into the base of BTK in game number 1.
And we've talked about some of those lackadaisical beginnings by BTK. Can Area 77 keep that lead, keep that advantage? Can they not make the mistakes? And they have been playing to a T, making sure that they keep that confidence, keep that aggression on the BTK, now knocking at the high ground towers.
I'll tell you what, after this game, Baj sees no Jawhead. There will not be another Jawhead in this series. I guarantee you that. But it just shows that, yes, BTK had some picks that had to be banned, right? But so does Area 77.
Oh, man, and just like that, you can see that the both marksmen's ISO on the Wan, Zia on the Granger, they have now tied it up from where Zia was steamrolling ahead by 1K. Just one play by Joybaj, able to even that up for his team, Area 77. And that is a crippling move for BTK in my eyes, just because of how well Zia can sometimes come at the end and be able to get some of those great plays to bring BTK back. Do they have an answer to be able to flip this over for Area 77?
I mean, there's always an answer, especially with BTK, especially having Hoon. You have the possible diversion play. You have best player who can maybe get the steal. If Shark gets a big way of the dragon, you know, there are definitely a lot of playmaking answers from BTK here, and they're kind of lucky that Lord spawns back down on this boss side, so at least their broken inhibitor tower is on Lord side, which makes things a little bit easier when contesting this.
Yeah, and then hopefully we're going to see, I want to say right now we've kind of taken out the risk of those solo plays, the split pushing from best player, because we've seen right now Shiro and him have gone at it, and unfortunate for best player, Shiro has been getting the upper hand on a lot of those fights. He did go ahead, push the top with Lord spawning now.
Yeah, Area 77 with a good position over this Lord, but still playing it safe, letting BTK come out of their cave a little bit. The long lane right now from Lord side is pushing in onto Area 77, so it's a good position. Someone's going to have to go clean that up as long as BTK are able to stall this out. And look at the diversion, look at the repositioning from BTK.
Oh, it's just fried chicken there at the bottom, though, so trying to get some positioning. ISO, scouting, doing a great job. This is what I love about Area 77 right now. They're doing such a great job of making sure they are checking around the map as fast and as great as they can, making sure to kind of disable what Hoon can bring with that diversion.
Yeah, they're constantly looking for information and finding it, right? And that's so huge for so many teams. ISO, once again, they know what BTK is up to. They know they're trying to get a bottom flank position, and they're not letting it happen. If anything, ISO's actually on the chase. Joybaj now in the back line. Yureshi there as well. Big toss from Hoon. Hoon gonna get shattered down by the feathered airstrike as Shiro tries to clean up in the backside, but best player with the outplay takes out the Retry, takes out the jungler, and now BTK can try to turn this around.
Ooh, Shark with the conceal play is gonna run, sweep into it. Look how fast BTK responds to being able to take out an overplay by Shiro. Joybaj in the front, looking for an opportunity.
Joybaj in a bad spot. Don't know if he wants to go for this. Immortality does pop. Best player able to get the kill onto him as ISO dances around the backside. Feather airstrike does come down. All ISO needs is one crossbow tang, and there it is. Will it be the turnaround though? Can he get the kill? Can he try to put things back into their favor in this fight? Over on the other side of the map right now, Zia also cleaning it up, but Area 77 are still hunting along with best player as he picks up Hunter. It's a 3 for 3. It's a mess, and BTK come out with the Lord, but look at ISO still going.
Yeah, I think Hoon smacked some sense into him trying to go into that tower. Oh, he's gonna come in with the diversion.
Ooh. He doesn't go. He holds back. Hold back.
Yeah, a great play. Can anybody stop ISO right now? 5, 1, and 2. They have been effectively able to shut down Zia. 2, 4, and 7 on the Granger right now. Best player doing all right. 6 and 3, and you saw they're able to kind of bait out Shiro into the back line, get the CC, and shut him down to get this Lord. A little bit of breathing room.
Ooh. Winter Truncheon not going to be able to get away from that. That is huge. Once again, best player goes down. 40 seconds on the clock, though. He will be up well before next Lord. Area 77, I think in that last team fight, ISO maybe lost his cool a little bit. They forced a fight that they did not have to.
Ooh, we do have a diversion coming in from the backside. Looks like Hoon coming in. Hunter's locked on.
ISO still looking for a target, trying to dance back. Zia trying to lock him down, and ISO finally falls. Zia finally with the pop-off. Joybaj looking for a target. Fly Chicken just won't go down. Joybaj finally gets the kill. BTK push back, but they're looking better and better as they do it.
Yeah, 18-11 right now, and a tie gold game. The only problem here is the map for BTK is wide open. When these fights happen, BTK have even smaller room to be able to retreat to. While Area 77, if a fight doesn't go their way, they can immediately go to that mid tower, immediately get some protection there.
But they're going to look at the replay right now. They get the kill onto Shiro. Jungler for jungler. And ISO is able to push back Fried Chicken, but he still goes down. And this is, we're looking at the position from Zia. He's finally kind of coming online on this Granger.
Yeah, and I want to say some great positioning there by Hunter to kind of come in. He waits for the fight to engage, kind of comes in very late, allows Hoon to show himself so that he can get the jump on him. Hoon, right there, he didn't know which target he should go for. He tried to turn it back around on the Hunter, and unfortunately, Hunter already had that feather airstrike, laying the damage down on him.
I mean, and it's becoming harder and harder. Like, before, Hunter was having trouble pocketing these feathered airstrikes, right? But now, Fried Chicken, Shark, it's not as easy for them to get to that back line with ISO prowling around, with Yureshi stopping them in their tracks, and Hunter's having a much better time. He's 6-1-5. He's able to feel a little bit safer when he drops that ultimate. He knows that his team's got him at this point.
Yeah, and I think that the only thing that we need to watch out for on the side of Area 77, Shiro just needs to be a little bit more patient with some of those quad shadows. I say that, we have another diversion out on the field. Looks like they just kind of repositioning a bit, not an explosively great position diversion there.
I mean, in gold, I mean, look at it. It's literally exactly a tie game right now. At this point, Area 77's big chance is to try to play the map and maybe not force these fights too much, but Hoon goes down. That's one member off the map for BTK as Best Player tries to fight into the backside. Best Player now on the run. Winter Truncheon pops. ISO not going to let him go. Not today. Immortality is bought, is picked up. Best Player able to just escape with his life, but Area 77 doesn't want to stop here. Shiro going to dash in, quad shadow, and then escape, and now Zia's trying to turn the tables as Area 77 runs back to the Lord.
That is what you call synergy. Look how quickly BTK were able to get to that back line, protect Best Player. Now Joybot's looking for another ejector.
Whoa! That's huge damage. The feathered airstrike comes down, and BTK falls. Best Player, Zia, taken off the map, and this guarantees a Lord for Area 77.
Shiro picking up a Lord, his team picking apart BTK, 21-11.
ISO just needs to focus on the base. A couple more shots. BTK trying to defend, but that is it. Area 77 defy the odds and take game number 1.
A loss from a team coming from a direction Bloodthirsty King have not seen a challenge in a while. And here, Area 77 making this first match count.
Woo, what a I mean, and that went the long haul too. BTK was never fully out of that. At any point, they could have turned it around, which gives me hope for the series, gives me hope for Area 77 because they were beating BTK even when the gold was tied.
Yeah, and this is the amazing thing, and this is what I've been talking about with teams when it comes to BTK. They sometimes have a little bit of a sluggish start where they understand that they can make some mistakes in the early game. They can allow their items to kind of build up. Here against Area 77, those early mistakes cost them dearly to the point that BTK was never really able to claw themselves to an advantage. They were always just able to get even, able to just kind of hold the line with Area 77. So this is going to be quite the competitive game, and I'm all here for it.
All here for it is right. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's take a look at some of these stats. Area 77, you know, ISO had a slow start. I feel like Shiro was kind of the leader in terms of damage when the game started, but as things ended, 80,000 damage. ISO was dancing, man. The guy was grooving. The guy was feeling himself, and he was tap dancing on the graves of BTK by the end of that match.
Yeah, not just that, but Hunter had himself a great game as well. He wasn't as targeted as we thought he would be by BTK, not for lack of effort. They just weren't able to reach him in time. And this is something I've been talking about when it comes to the Farja. You have to be able to get there quick and get that burst and CC in, or you're looking at the very least, 1 or 2 feathered airstrikes landing down on you. And that damage is game changing.
I mean, it was huge. I think everyone on Area 77 just pulled up Baj with some of those end game plays, constantly flanking. I don't think BTK was ready for that aggression, especially because Area 77 was playing it a little bit mellow in the first few minutes. Shark was always on the opposite side of the river. Shark and Hoon were looking for those diversion plays, kind of trying to bring that early game chaos. And then once Area 77 started to get moving, they were just in their face nonstop.
And I want to say it was a great job by Area 77 because they kind of held down where the opportunities for those diversions to come. We saw in a lot of these objective plays, they were checking bushes, getting that information very quickly, rotating around the map. ISO doing such a great job as we take a look at some of these replays.
Yeah, taking a look at the replays, I mean, this is the beginning when Area 77's already showing how aggressive this ejector can be. And this is where BTK, they were looking for plays nonstop, but they just weren't able to secure them, never able to tilt these fights heavily into their favor. And this is, I mean, Boz got some TikTok highlight reels here today.
Yeah, and I think you said it best. I think this was a nice outing for Jawhead from Baj, but I do not think we're going to be seeing that again here through the drafting.
Yeah, I think that is. I mean, we saw it banned all day yesterday when BTK was playing. I think there was definitely some limit testing here in game number 1. Even the pickup from best player, picking up that Joy when the Hayabusa's still out there, was a risky upfront pick that kind of surprised me.
Yeah, and that's something that's a little bit different. I'm wondering where that kind of came from. I think I agree when it comes to limit testing, not that this wasn't an absolutely dominating performance for Area 77. And even if it was a limit test, you've got two options here. One, Area 77 dominated at the best for BTK, or BTK went ahead, got a little lackadaisical, and Area 77 putting the foot down on them and like, we are not the team to be playing like that against.
Yeah. We're not the team. You do not try us like that. You want to give us the Hayabusa? You want to give us the Jawhead? We will show you why that is a problem. And this changes, because the thing is BTK is not just going to roll over and let those picks keep happening. This changes the whole dynamic of draft number 2, right? This changes the way that both teams are going to approach this, because I guarantee you those bans are going to change and those first couple picks are going to change.
Yeah, and here, I'm wondering where these changes are going to be. The Lu Yi wasn't as effective. Both Lu Yi and Granger, and that is a big caveat to how dominating Area 77 were. There was a point I was going to just bring up. Oh, hey, we still got Zia. He's still 1K up, and immediately Joy Baj goes ahead, unstoppable force into him, takes down Zia. They were able to identify that, and that's what I liked about the game too when it comes to Area 77 and why they were able to be so successful, is because at every single point they were able to identify who is still a threat here, who do we need to take off the table, and they were super effective with that. And that allowed ISO, that allowed Hunter to be able to kind of get that advantage that they needed.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Every single point, like you said, they were able, even though they were so aggressive, there was times when they knew when to back off, right? They were playing like a S-class team in NA. They were playing like one of the best. They were playing like BTK plays on an international level. So we definitely got a show to be in for today.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it. Definitely waiting to see what kind of changes we have here when it comes to this draft, where BTK is going to go. It does look like we're kind of ironing into those same first bans. It comes to the Phobius. We have the Fanny taken off the board. Area 77, I feel like they're very comfortable with their draft, what they have right now. I just don't feel like they're going to get those same allowances they had last time. We talked about it, having the Joy into a Hayabusa, having possibly the Lu Yi wasn't as effective. We didn't really have any protection for the Lu Yi, and then that was a big problem too at the effectiveness. Lu Yi puts out an immense amount of damage, but she is kind of very susceptible to getting ganked, which we saw from that, especially when it came to the flanks, with Hunter utilizing that wings by wings to stay out of the fight, but able to get into the fight very quickly from the side.
I think the big question is here is like, do they ban out the Jawhead? Do they ban out the Hayabusa? Do they leave both open and look for the trade? Because if they leave the Jawhead open, BTK most likely picks it up immediately, right? And then Area 77, they at least get the trade back on the Hayabusa and something else. So Area 77 still feels kind of, with how the last game went, they feel a little bit in the advantage, but there's some risks to take if they want to push that envelope.
Well, yeah, and then it leaves kind of open if we go ahead and we ban out, like I say here, if we ban out that Jawhead, or we pick up the Jaw, yeah, there goes the Hayabusa ban. Because I do feel like Joy can be flexed into other lanes as well. So then you have the potential of picking up the Joy and the Hayabusa on one team that you've essentially taken out the only counter that you have for a Joy, especially with Gatakacha already off the table.
Such a big brain ban there, because now the Joy doesn't, I mean, the Joy doesn't really have much of a counter, right? Like, so it's forcing A77 to be like, man, if we ban the Joy, they get the Jawhead up front. If we ban the Jawhead, they get the Joy and we get no counter. So taking that Hayabusa out, I think, from BTK, super good. They go for the Lucas, so at least fine. We're going to trade here. We're willing to do it. BTK on the gun.
Personally, I kind of feel like, do we take the Jawhead here? Do we take the Joy? Because now, and show, oh, or do we just pick up the Kimmy?
I mean, that's the Kimmy, Zia could carry with the Kimmy. Is there that much value? It's got to be Hayabusa Jawhead from Area 77. They go, no, I mean, Joy Jawhead from Area 77 here. I feel like that's got to be the lock-in.
Yeah, and that's kind of my question now. What are we answering this Joy with? Especially, I mean, there's going to be, I'm assuming we're going to have an immense amount of CC on the side of BTK, something that will help. I mean, we've got Belleric that can kind of come out of there to be able to use the Wrath of Dryad to be able to get that big, wide berth of area to get the CC on. We'll see. There's the Jawhead pickup, and I'm wondering, this is the time. This is where BTK needs to show we have a plan for the Jawhead, because this is going to be, we don't want to show another dominating performance by Joybaj on this.
You're literally giving Baj his bread and butter right now. Like, you're giving him everything he wants. And not only that, you're giving Shiro one of the best junglers. Without Hayabusa on the field, there was not much dealing with this. Yes, BTK could pick up something like the Suyo, but we saw yesterday, they won with the Suyo against Joy. But that's not exactly supposed to happen. Suyo has gotten the nerf. They go for the Jushin, so they do get some crowd control. They get some ability to kite. So the Jushin and the Kimmy, have some ability to maybe keep their distance from the Jawhead. But what about the Joy?
Yeah, and that's going to be my big question. I assume that we're banking on the Zushin, being able to use that Lantern Flare to just lay that area that can get CC'd around the Joy, pick it on around the objective so that Joy's not going to be staying in there. It just, you're banking on a lot, especially when we need to be able to protect this mage. We need to protect it from, especially Afarja. We already saw what Afarja was able to do to Lu Yi. I want to say a little bit more mobility that can come out from a Jushin. So we'll see how that kind of works out for Hoon.
I feel like they put a lot of their eggs into the basket of Zia with this one. The Kimmy has definitely just been scary overall. Is it a, if the Kimmy is the game changer in this one, it was worth it, but it is a high risk here on game number 2, because that is essential. I feel like that's all they really got out of this first phase trade. Coming into the second draft, we do see the Hilda, the second draft of bans. We see the Hilda taken out. We see the Tig.
I was going to say, the only other thing that I know that can counter a Joy is potentially Fredrin that can come out, and that would mean that Suyu would get flexed over to the XP lane. And Fredrin just really has kind of lost his touch. I think we've seen him once in the playoffs, and he was very unsuccessful. So it's not one of the most optimal, because you have the rest of your team really has to fill in that damage role, really has to be able to protect Fredrin so that he's not just tanking stuff alone and just taking on the entirety of the team. Here, I do like taking Freya off the board. It was so much more effective. It's not a glorious role to be able to be playing that Freya around, because you're not getting the kills, but it does make the plays. It creates that threat to a lot of the squishier heroes on BTK, especially to that late game.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for BTK. I mean, I think the Fredrin could have been solid. But you would need a better EXP laner than Suyo, I feel like. Like, it could have been solid, and you just create a big wall for Jushin and Kimmy to sit behind. You just go tanky tank, tanky jungler, tanky EXP laner, and let Zia just free fire as much as possible. But with the Suyo and EXP lane, it's kind of now we're getting risky. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. BTK, we saw them flex last time, the Kalea into the EXP lane. That is also still open as a roam position for Shark, and could possibly be, you know, the stiff arm to try to stop Shiro in his place.
One thing that's also open, and on paper I've heard it as a counter for Joy, but just haven't really seen it yet. The Badang is still open there, and especially when it comes into the late game, he's got a lot of ability to just be that gap creator for his team. Push people back. As soon as the engagement comes, boom, you're punched into a wall. Or you have another wall in front of you that he's able to create to separate you from the team. Here, we didn't really see it too much last game. I don't even think it was banned out. I think it completely walked out there. Wondering if that might be something that is an option for BTK.
I think it's definitely a possibility. They go for the Kalea, though, just to stop Shark. They put it in the EXP lane. It's something just to keep themselves even more aggressive. I mean, A77 is just constant pick-off. With the Jawhead, the Kalea now, they are an aggressive combination. They keep gold lane for last pick. Could see something like a Beatrix come up. If BTK goes super tanky, they could lock in the carry. There's a few options still in the field, but what does BTK lock in here?
Yeah, and the thing for me too is where we're going to be going with in the XP lane right now. We're going to be taking on potentially a Kalea, or yeah, it's going to be the Kalea or the Jawhead. I'm assuming Joybot's going to stick with the Jawhead on there. Oh, a Ruby that we have not seen. That's picked up by Shark, and I want to say a bread and butter pickup for fried chicken. Very interesting too. This is a pick that he has been known for, that he is very, very comfortable on, and not just that, but it's able to create plays when it comes to a lot of those objective and team fights.
Ruby's not the most meta pick. It's not amazing, but it's also not bad, and it could be the answer. One good second skill, you can maybe catch Shiro in the middle of a fight. You can maybe, kind of stop Joybaj from dashing in. Same thing against Kalea. And then, of course, you have the big I'm offended, so they bring in some crowd control. It's something you wanted to see from BTK. Not exactly the crowd control we imagined, but Tigreal's banned. Glue is banned. Those normal options are off the table, so BTK's forced to kind of think outside the book.
And the one thing, though, is I do feel like Shark likes to be very aggressive in the early game. He does a great job of being able to just get under the hair of the enemy, to get into those bushes, to get a lot of that information. You're going to have to be very careful with the Ruby in the early game. She does need those items to be able to get that regen, to actually be able to do her job and to survive. Here, I wonder, I almost feel like we're kind of lacking a little bit of damage on the side of BTK. That is not a problem for Area 77. So that's where I'm very curious to see how they manage. They're really putting a lot of eggs into the CC basket to be able to just put Area 77 into a coma.
Yeah, I mean, it's Zia needs to get online, then the damage will kind of get there. I feel like for me, BTK, I don't want to see them use this composition as much of as a divey composition. I think it's more of a stick together, create a wall. Best player might be able to flank here and there, but I think Fried Chicken and Shark need to kind of make sure they're protecting Zia and Hoon, right? Because we know how aggressive Joybaj wants to get. I think it'll be a good idea if they can bait Area 77 in, but let's jump in to game number 2. Area 77 started things off with the first win of the series. Can BTK even out the playing field?
Yeah, I want to say that first game, the entire viewer base let out a collective gasp watching BTK hand a victory over to Area 77 in a very dominating performance here.
So, I mean, Shark starting things off exactly how he started off last time, right in their face, right on the opposite side of the river, keeping tabs on Hunter and pushing him back. And this is going to give Shark and Hoom the ability to maybe get position over Litho Wanderers, get positions on offside of the maps a little bit faster.
Yeah, and you see their Joybot sticking with Shiro, trying to add to that damage, helping Shiro to kind of collectively rotate around very fast. He's going to have that 4 here in a few seconds, while Best Player is still kind of working on that. Oh,
and doing that, it leaves Hunter on his own, and he's having some trouble in this mid lane right now. Baj needs to try to come in and save the day.
Oh, yeah, and I'm wondering if how we're going to be able to protect Hoon.
Save the day he will, as Hoon is taken out first blood over to Area 77.
I can't believe I mentioned that as soon as he goes in. That was my big question. How are we protecting Hoon here? Shark has a little bit of CC. He's going to need some cooldown before he's able to kind of really spam those abilities.
And Shark's got to stay in mid. He's trying to save those minions so that Hoon can get a little bit of gold back here. And now Area 77 has gained position, gained momentum in the first 2 minutes. Turtle up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, this mid rotation has always been a key factor for a lot of teams when it comes to the roam and the mid. Being able to kind of clear, being able to get those rotation. Hunter's still doing a great job being able to kind of hold his own, clear out those minions, wait for Area 77 to come and do a pass by. Here, looks like it's going to be a clean turtle for BTK.
All right, so Area 77 playing it clean. I mean, they did the same thing last time, kind of played a bit more passive around these turtles. Fly Chicken now rotating up, and this is how I mean, even with BTK taking a death early on, they're still good on their map control.
Yeah, here, Fly Chicken lingering around mid. My only point here, oh, they go in. Hoon tries to get that ultimate. They pull back Hunter. Yureshi goes in.
Oh, big tsunami slam. Down comes the feathered airstrike. Hoon under the tower, taken out once again as Rain is fire on the ground. Fly Chicken forced to back off. That's 2 kills onto Hoon in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, too, it felt like we were kind of pushing for something. The Fly Chicken was lingering around mid, and there just was not an opening. I was waiting for him to rotate down at the bottom, but it almost felt like they forced a play that Area 77 was able to turn around.
Yeah, man, and Shark wanted that I'm offended so bad, man. He was like on the tower, and he second guesses it, doesn't go for it, and it gives Area 77 those few seconds to be like, fine, we'll be the ones who attack.
Yeah, and I felt like they were completely prepared for that coming from BTK, and that's why I was about to say, like, at mid, we saw the linger there from a Fly Chicken. There probably should have been a call to just, all right, we're not going to be able to find one here. Let's back off. And unfortunately, when you press something like that, where it's not completely 110%, Area 77, the skill that they have right now, they're going to be able to turn that around on you.
Taking a look at the items, gold lane kind of favoring Zia a little bit. I think what's going to be important for Area 77 is definitely trying to slow that down. They've gotten picks on the mid side. They've been able to take out Hoon. If they can put a wrench in Zia's plan, it can almost guarantee them the game.
One thing I do want to say, though, is we've seen before that there is going to have to be, after you shut down Hoon, there definitely needs to have attention paid down to Zia. Because we've seen how lethal he can be on this pick and how well he can control with it. Now, going on to the next turtle fight.
Yeah, Joybaj looking for a position along with Yureshi into the backside. He dives in. Best player gets done. Tsunami slam as Hunter looks for a positioning. Best player still able to take the turtle in the midst of it. Look at the damage on a Baj. Zia already picking up a kill. BTK comes out on top on the second turtle.
Oh, and this is exactly what I was talking about with Zia. He's somebody that has to be on your list. Those quick rotations on a gimme. However, it does allow the pickup of a tower by... Oh, as I misspoke a little too soon. that tower's down, basically.
Pretty much. I mean, but I think Area 77 kind of pulled the BTK last game. BTK forces a fight. They do come out with the advantage. They have a 700 gold lead. But Area 77 at least find a little bit of ground. But look at the damage on a Fly Chicken. He's able to get away there with the dashes, and there's the comfortability on that Edith.
Yeah, he's got 113 seconds left with 60 seconds left on this next turtle, which means he's not going to be able to kind of get that flicker and pop-up when it comes to this next team fight. Ooh, we have an I'm Offended.
Nice, I'm Offended with some nice damage. Yureshi just trying to get away, but Shark doesn't let it happen. Joybaj now getting involved as well. Hoon brought down low. ISO with the speedy light wheel, just looking for a couple more shots, but he decides to finally back off.
Ooh, and I love how quickly both of these marksmen come online to join some of these fights. We've talked about it before, especially when it comes to like a carry pickup, who it can be very, very late in the game before those item spikes really try to pop off. But ISO still trying to come in through these early team fights. Only 30 seconds left on this turtle, especially with, I want to say, one ultimate down from Hoon.
I mean, Zia, I actually missed it. He did go down in that fight, which is kind of big. So I mean, it's a decent start for Area 77, but Zia also does just lock in his you get the stacks and you get the execute. I'm having a mind blank right now. The new item, and last time he didn't go for it first. He went for it as like 4th or 5th item this time, and now coming in, Shark looking for Bosch.
Ooh, that was actually very careful there. If that was anybody else, if that was Hoon, Joybaj would have taken him out. Now they don't have any fracture to be able to get onto this turtle. It's going to be a free one for Area 77. 2-1 when it comes to turtle pickups right now.
All right, so BTK still holding a small gold lead here, even with the turtle going down. I mean, it's just like last game. This is a tie game right now.
Ooh, we do get a little CC on the Yureshi. Down comes the feathered airstrike, but no worse for wear. Hunter, I want to say he uses his feathered airstrike very sparingly. And, I mean, I guess there's not really a huge cooldown on it, so he hasn't really been getting punished for it.
I mean, and he's very willing to use it when in terms of wave clear. I think he has a feeling it's not safe out there, but he also wants to kind of keep his team in a decent position, so he uses it to clear that mid wave a lot. We saw it last game, and we're seeing it this game, but now Baj in a little bit of trouble, gonna go down. Zia able to get the kill, put him at 2-1-1. Another feathered airstrike from Hunter just to try to clear out this wave, just to try to clear out these minions.
Put Joybaz through a sleep clinic there. He went back and just got CC'd into the ground. And I want to say this is kind of like a little bit of a taste of what BTK was looking for when it came to this composition. As we start moving more and more, we're going to start seeing more of that. Somebody's going to get caught. They're just going to be asleep through the entirety of the damage that's kind of coming out for them. Right now, still a pretty even game here on all fronts.
Yeah, BTK gonna go for the lane cut on top, look for this top tower to even things out even more. And now Area 77, if we look at the minimap, also going down to the bot side to try to do the same thing. Is this gonna be a tier 2 for a tier 2?
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting thing. You see them kind of dancing back and forth. I don't think they understand that's the carry at the bottom. ISO doing a great job putting on the damage, and there goes the tier 2 for BTK.
Both teams have been playing the macro incredible, I feel like, these past two games. From wave control in the mid side to lane control on the off lanes. Overall, both teams know the importance of every single minion they take and just controlling the pace of these lanes.
Yeah, and especially with how well that they're able to kind of get into these lanes and where they find the opportunities. It's never just alone. It's always a group effort. They understand, but I want to say here, some great placement by Area 77. A missed opportunity by Shark as this fight is about to beginning.
Now, Yureshi does still have the Tsunami Slam as well. Feathered Airstrike does come down to create a little bit of space. Joybaj gets pulled back in and taken out. Best player able to get the kill. Big Tsunami Slam does land onto Yureshi. They're going to try to target down to him. Gets brought low. Fly Chicken taken out. ISO picks up the kill. 1-for-1. EXP for Rome.
Yeah, and right now, looking, I mean, both teams kind of giving up on the Lord right now. It's kind of a stalemate there. Fly Chicken got taken out into the back line. That big Tsunami Slam able to bring him into harm's way. The entire group of Area 77. Yureshi, ooh, very close to getting caught.
Now look at Shiro, though, maybe in a bad spot. Needs to be careful. He's going to get dragged back. Hoon able to get the lantern off. Shiro going to get the kill onto Hoon here. Now he's into the backside. Shark low, electrifying beats. Able to reclaim space over this Lord Pit as Joybaj and ISO show up. Best player pushed back. Area 77 aren't going to focus down onto this Lord, though. They're going to try to move on to the mid tower.
Oh, and I wonder if that was kind of a misplay by Hoon. He went forward, tried to get that CC onto Shiro. He did get the Lantern Flare, picks him up, and brings him closer. And it's like, now what? Now you have a Joy in your face who's about to take you down.
Yeah, it felt like it was all part of Shiro's plan. It's like, listen, he's going to pull me back in. I'm going to get my electrifying beats off, and it's all GG's from there. Area 77 now kind of really stepping on the glass. What was a tied game is now a 2K gold lead. And look at the aggression onto this purple buff jungle. Joy trying to get in, gets a toss onto Hoon once again. ISO with the speedy light wheels. Bosch tries to run away, but Zia able to find the kill onto Area 77. Shiro looking for the electrifying beats. He pops it. He finds it. The damage does unleash. Best player able to take him out, though. It's 2-for-1. BTK are able to find a winning moment as the Lord encroaches on their field.
Yeah, a winning moment, but they did lose Zia here. Doing a great job, and they're doing I want to say Area 77 doing a great job of locking on to Zia once he starts getting those stacks up and being able to shut him down. Best player came in there, helpful with the cleanup, but right now this is looking a shade like last game. The jungle being able to get cleared out. The towers are definitely in favor of Area 77 with the Lord at BTK's gates.
I mean, and it's definitely, you said how they were targeting Zia. Zia and Hoon, man. Baj knows the assignment. He woke up today and knew what he was born for. It is all Hoon. It is all Zia. There is no escape from Jawhead right now. He is going to get pulled back in, though, for that airstrike from the boss side. Able to unleash some bombs onto the side of BTK. ISO able to find Fried Chicken. Lord still at about half health. A Shark just tries to escape with his life. He's able to get under the tower to safety, but Area 77 continues to push in.
Oh, Shark Shark had me holding my breath there. He dove in a little late in that fight, got blasted down by ISO, and still manages to be able to get out. And what did he earn for it? He got himself an I'm offended, but the team was not able to get the kill. And this is kind of what I was talking about. There's a lot of CC on the side of BTK, but the CC is not lasting long enough for Zia to be able to get that much damage in. And I think they're really putting a lot of eggs on the basket of Zia here to be able to get that group amount of AoE damage.
He'll play from Shark, trying to gain position. And I feel like a lot of that CC as well is like close range CC. It's not dive CC. So all they're ever getting is Joy Baj. And with the range of Hunter, with ISO able to kind of bide his time and wait to come in, they're never really able to get to that back line. There's no way to penetrate through the front line without also losing Shark or Fried Chicken.
Yeah, and that's the problem here is there's a lot of heroes on the side of Area 77. They have a great composition that kind of mixes if we're dangerous from afar, and we're dangerous if you pull us close to you as well. And that's been the problem. We noticed that from Hoon, as Hoon used that lantern flare, grabbed Shiro, and Shiro just turned that around. Also, I want to say a little bit of a misstep from Hoon, kind of got separated from his team a little bit too far there. I want to say, though, I am absolutely in love with the performance right now from Area 77.
Another Lord goes down, and a Tsunami Slam catches Shark. Immortality pops. He's not going to escape this one. That's a member down and a Lord over to Area 77. What is going on with BTK right now?
They're just getting outclassed by some of these picks, and this is kind of something that I've seen from them before when it comes to some of these. They absolutely, even when it came to taking on the Valley and dealing with Mark Cuty's Aurora, it took them about 3 or 4 games before they realized this is a problem. This is something we need to ban out, and I think they go through all of these steps to make sure, all right, we're going to try all these other things, we're going to try to get around it, we're going to try to pick them apart on their favorite hero. I think they just need to go ahead, suck it up, and ban that out.
Yeah, the game 3, it's got to go. It's got to go. And Area 77, even with the confidence of it, it's like, we don't think you're gonna pick it. We're gonna not ban it as well. And now BTK paying the price on that. The Kalea and the Jawhead into the hands of Area 77, because even Yoreshi now is making great plays, but Lord is coming down. Feathered airstrike to help open up the field. They take the tower, grab Chicken, bring it back to the base. He tries to flicker back. Shark falls as ISO and Shiro wreck havoc onto the land of BTK. It's 3 members down. We're looking for 4, but the minions aren't there, so Area 77 backs off.
They still have minions coming in through mid, still have minions coming in through top, so there is still time for them to be able to close this game out. They're looking for Zia. They do get a little bit of CC.
Ooh. What was Hunter doing? Wings by Wings trying to get the stun onto Zia, being a little bit too aggressive, and that's a first big mistake we see come out of his hands.
And this is what BTK needs to have, is some type of mistakes from Area 77. And this is what we've talked about before when it comes to a lot of games. A lot of games, they're lost at the base, and not always by the defenders. Sometimes people get a little too eager when they're pushing in there. You cannot be overstepping your place, especially against a team like this, especially against Zia. The problem here for me on the side of BTK, I feel like they've been so used to dealing with teams in the mid to late game who make mistakes that they can capitalize off of. Here, Area 77 are not making those, well, they're making fewer mistakes in the game than they need to.
You know, we've been talking about Baj and Yureshi a lot, but we got to focus in on ISO, man. The guy is 4-0-4. Last game, he played tremendously on that Wan. This game, he's playing amazing on this carry. You know, when we talk about gold laners, it's always Zia and Basic, and ISO kind of gets tossed to that number 3 spot. He gets tossed to a number 4 spot, but right now, ISO is looking to be number 1.
Yeah, and this is a great game there. Joybaj definitely taken to. This is immensely why Shark had the huge amount of respect for Joybaj, and especially looking forward to this rematch. Great positioning for Area 77 right now. BTK have to be very careful about this next Lord.
I mean, look at Jawhead and ISO in that signature bush down there. They are going to finally run out. It's like, it's getting a little too hairy. Too many of them are down here. This might not be a safe spot.
Yeah, and that was what I was worried. That's the MPL bush when it comes to those ganks of coming up from the side there. Do you have a little bit of engagement?
Nami Slam does land down on Fried Chicken. ISO going to shred through. Fried Chicken is able to just escape, brought low, but finally taken out. Zia does find Shiro, though. That's a jungler off the map for Area 77 with Lord up. That is a risky situation.
Oh, they trade Fly Chicken for the Lord. This is going to be a great opportunity for BTK to be able to get this Lord. They do need to be on their P's and Q's. Make sure that they're not allowing, you can see Area 77 hanging in. A lot of immortalities.
Big jump. Best player brought low. He's taken out. Hunter gonna try to steal this Lord out of their hands. Zia gone as well. Can they get it? Yes. Area 77 gets the outplay, and now ISO's on the base. We don't need a Lord to win game number 2.
Coming at BTK from multiple directions. Not only were they able to take down best player at the Lord fight, but also ISO coming in through the mid lane, able to secure the core for Area 77's second win against BTK.
That is huge. We're at 2-0 right now. Area 77 continues to dominate. Game 1 was close, but this time Area 77 showed up in clean fashion. And look at ISO, 5-0-4, and even him splitting off from the team. They didn't have a jungler, but they weren't worried about it. They were willing to attack from multiple angles and still felt confident that they could win out.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing to me is you have one player down, so you essentially send 3 people to try to engage on this Lord, and they were still able to take down best player while pushing through the mid with ISO. I don't think we have said enough about ISO and his performance here. You talked a little bit about it as well. He is doing a phenomenal job.
I mean, he's a monster right now, and everyone on Area 77 is a monster right now. Baj, Shiro, Hunter, able to get some amazing positioning on this Farza, and even Yureshi grabbing best player in that moment, making sure to get the stun so that Hunter could get the kill and turn the table in that Lord fight.
And I know a lot of people were worried about this being a BTK sweep. Not me, but other people were worried about that. Area 77 has come with guns loaded and ready to bring it to BTK here today.
It's honestly, I mean, I don't think anyone thought this series would start off like this. 2-0 for Area 77. So taking a look, and I mean, even looking at the stats, right? Hoon, Zia, involved in every single kill. All 9 of them in their hands. So is maybe that not... We talked about that being all their eggs in one basket. We picked up this Kimmy up front, and it just wasn't enough this time. BTK has to rethink the way that they're looking at these drafts and games.
Yeah, and the problem for me is that we just cannot defend against Joybaj's his Jawhead and being able to get into that back line. I don't even know what you do with the reaction time. He's able to flicker into the back, immediately toss your weakest player into the team, and then you're going to have issues. Just take a look here at the Feathered Airstrike. This was a little bit of a misplay there by Shark, kind of going a little over eager at the mid lane, and Area 77 was able to turn it around. But Area 77 A77 as it moves on to the mid and late game. This is something that BTK has not faced yet in this tournament. A team that only gets stronger, that gets sharper as the mid and late game comes online. Fly Chicken here getting duped up by 4 people, and here another one, best player getting scooped up as we take a look at some of these Lord fights that have been coming on.
Yeah, I mean, they continued. I feel like this time it was an even tougher game for BTK than game number 1. Area 77 got everything they wanted in terms of draft and then executed the games perfectly. Look at Yoreshi just constantly getting those tsunami slams. And the big difference here is Area 77 was getting away with targeting the roamers and the tanks and breaking through. When BTK tried to target Baj, when they tried to target Yoreshi, they weren't able to get those kills. They were never able to break through.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing here. And we're at the second to last fights here, trying to defend the base, and here's where it went all wrong. You could see on the mini map that ISO moving along the mid lane. Even if they had lost this fight at the Lord, ISO able to activate that speedy light wheel and absolutely dominate this core.
Honestly, even if best player got that Lord, ISO still might have been able to get the split push there. Hoon wasn't able to do anything to him. He's got his lantern now, just die already. Just die already.
It's that old meme with the Punisher. No. And yeah, he absolutely, even if they would have gotten that, and that's the point there, is that they're attacking, the way that they're attacking is just from multiple different fronts. As soon as Shiro goes down, a lot of teams, their mind would be, all right, how do we defend this Lord? How do we do this? No, theirs went to, all right, we can take this Lord and we can have somebody go around and be able to get that split push into mid.
They were always solution-based thinking. They're living in the solution, man. You know, it's like when something goes wrong, it's not, oh, run away. It's, okay, well, we do this to fix this problem. Okay, well, we do this to fix this problem. And that is the way a team has to think a lot of the time. And right now, you know, whether we doubted them or not, Area 77 is 100% constantly thinking like that.
They talked about it. We've seen a different Area 77 here, figuratively and literally. It's a different team now, but how confident they are coming into this, into their own little boot camp here with all the players, pulling people from Canada in so that they can have the same thing that they're doing, BTK's doing with Zia. They're very confident in their ability, and I mean, who's to argue with them right now, sitting at a 2-0 record against BTK right now.
And Area 77 now back on the blue side, back in a comfortable spot for themselves. And finally, BTK respects it. And this is a lot of times where we see the table start to turn for BTK in a lot of grand finals. There's always like 1 or 2 picks that they just don't respect, or it just hasn't clicked for them. The gear just hasn't turned completely on, like, how are we going to win out in this draft? And this may just be it.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we do not see a jaw headband, my problem, well, not my problem, because I've been asking for the jaw headband since after game 1, but now the thinking becomes, what have we enabled for Area 77? Because obviously there was a reason that we didn't immediately go, let's go ahead and ban out Jawhead. There was something obviously that was a threat that BTK thought was a little bit of a priority. Is that something that we're about to allow to Area 77 right now? We've talked about it before. I feel like we're giving counters to Area 77. We're allowing it. They get the joy. We pick the Suyu. Traditionally, Suyu falters against the Joy. It doesn't really have a great track record. They pick the Hayabusa, we pick up the Joy. It's like we're getting outplayed when it comes to the draft. We're allowing them picks and we're answering with obvious counters to it as well. But with the Jawhead taken off the board, perhaps we're going to be able to get the momentum that we need to kind of bring back some of that synergy.
Yeah, and I mean, you obviously still want Baj on something aggressive, right? You want him on something like the Kalea, maybe, something like the Cho, something that he can still get in your face with. But now with, you know, the obvious option on, it's what do we prio, right? And at this point, Hayabusa's still open. I'm wondering if, you know, you don't really want to ban that out, but also the Hayabusa's just going to beat the Joy anyways. And now that BTK is in this spot, it's like, okay, maybe we give them the Hayabusa, but we get the Kimmy and the Kalea, right? We get at least some sort of big up and up on it.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing here, and it's funny to see the fanny bans by a team with best player on, who I want to say traditionally they've kind of been very comfortable in allowing or thinking that best player can kind of take that on. Kalea taken off the board. I'm assuming that the prio here is going to be the Hayabusa coming out from Area 77. As we've talked about his not domination, but he does scale very well, does very well into the Joy, and why not when you've had so much success with it?
Yeah, I think you're kind of in this position where you kind of have to. I mean, go for the Phobius instead, which is something I can understand that a little bit, because fried chicken on Phobius is scary, man. It doesn't matter whether you got Joy, whether you got Kimmy, he will tear all of that apart. So I'm not completely against this. I think it's definitely, it leaves the playing field still open. Now BTK can take the Hayabusa if they want. They could take the Kimmy. I mean, there's still some options left. So let's see how Area 77 approaches this after.
The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is this is where we traded out for Jawhead. Initially, Phobius is what was banned by BTK for the first 2 matches. So obviously they know that Yoreshi is very lethal on it, and it was something that they did not want to give up. We're going to see if that trade is worth it. I mean, personally, you can't get any worse than how Joybaj did on that Jawhead right now. So they are going to go ahead, scoop up that Hayabusa, and they're going to go ahead and snatch that Farja away from Hunter.
I mean, literally 4 of the 5 heroes that Area 77 played last game are off the field. They are forced to do something completely different in the draft. There's no Kalea, there's no Jawhead, no Farza, no Hayabusa. It is time to really, switch it up. With the Hayabusa on the field, do you not go for the Joy and go for something, like the Suyo, like the Alpha, something a little bit tankier that can kind of deal with the aggression that the Hayabusa wants to bring?
Yeah, and also, are they going to be, I was about to say, are we going to have something that can distance and can close in on the Farja? It's either the Matilda, either the Hylos, something that can go ahead and lay that path to immediately get to the Farja. What we have been seeing is, well, and then here comes in, we have the XP lane coming up. Do we go? No. Yeah, I was just about to say, is it going to be the Esmeralda? But no, and I'm assuming Esmeralda potentially gets banned out here because you can flex the Hilda into that roam position.
I mean, the Hilda's still good. It gives Fried Chicken some ability to be aggressive, a little more aggressive than you would be with the Esmeralda, but I feel like the Esmeralda definitely would have been clean there. It can do well against the Phobius in lane. It does great against the Hilda, but that's the pass. We're not talking about that. Cho gets banned out from BTK.
Yeah, and Hilda picked up here, and I'm wondering if that's going to be a flex pick up there. I want to say, when it comes to marksman lanes, Area 77 has done a great job of being able to kind of hold Xia down a bit. Not just, we've seen, and I've talked before about Xia's ability to be able to be successful in that lane despite how the game is going, but what's happening here is in the early game, BTK is having a lot of trouble. It's forcing Xia to have to rotate early to kind of be a part of these fights. And eventually, it works out in the beginning, but eventually they're starting to lock down. As soon as they see Xia has become a part of these fights, they just instantly zero in on him and are able to pick him apart. Here, they're going to have some different answers. You're not going to be able to get that wings by wings and quickly come in from the flank to drop down that immense amount of damage with the Farja, because now Hoon's going to be taking that up. And I'm wondering what the other answers are. And they probably lie in this Matilda pickup. And, potentially bringing that Phobius into the back line there, dropping down those demonic forces. Big focus here by Area 77 on that marksman lane.
The one's still open. It's a possibility. It could be something. We've seen Xia pick it up. We've seen ISO pick it up. And if that gets picked up, how does Area 77 respond? Mage is also still open. And I'm thinking maybe for Area 77, something like the Eve here? I know the Jushin is on the field still, but it feels like the range of the Jushin just has trouble sometimes against that Farza. I feel like the Jushin has trouble against the Hayabusa. And the Eve might be able to be a little bit more helpful with the Suyo and the Phobius, be able to trap people inside of that box, use it a lot like how Hoon used it yesterday.
Yeah, and this is something I've covered before when we talked about the Farja. Even if you're able to stop the Farja once you understand where she is on the field, you're talking about 1 or 2 attacks from that feathered airstrike, and that is almost, for most of the squishy heroes, for most mages, for most marksmen, that's more than 50% of their health, and you're just looking for somebody else to kind of finish up the job. Here, I'm not big on how the Zuxian might play. Potentially, we might be looking at, we could also be looking at a Valentina, somebody who can copy the wings by wings, somebody who can copy some of these ults to kind of bring them out there as well, to bring that same lethality that we had from the Farja back and turn it against BTK.
Oh, I mean, with the Hylos picked up, tanky front line for BTK. Just real simple, straightforward. Farza in the back, Hayabusa jumping around, 2 thick boys. They go for the Jushin still, and then we go for the carry. ISO did a great game on carry last time, and now with the mobility, it could still be a little lethal. But Zia, instead of picking up something like the 1-1, he goes for this Granger once again. Any thoughts on it?
I was gonna say my only thought right now is that Zia immediately picked up the Granger after the pickup from ISO, so he's very confident in it. I think there probably could have been something else potentially to come in there to do. I feel like to be a challenge. Granger does come on a bit faster than the carry does. Granger can also kind of close the distance on the map very quickly and become a part of these team fights a little bit faster. But we've seen this before right now from BTK where that doesn't really matter. We'll see how well BTK performs up here, especially in these opening minutes of the game where they've had so much trouble against Joybaj, against Yureshi, who've been doing these great job creating these plays to be able to kind of burst through that front line of BTK.
Now we'll see if Area 77 can keep up their streak as BTK's backs are up against the ropes, taking shots to the face. Can they finally put one in their book, or will Area 77 take us to match point?
Yeah, and that's going to be the scary thing here already. You do see that Lantern Flare doing its work onto Shark, getting him down to about 50% health. They do clear out the mid very quickly. Fly Chicken takes a heap of damage right now. They're doing work, and I'm eager to see how we go with this first turtle fight.
Yeah, I think first turtle fight can definitely be huge. BTK has gotten the past 2 first turtles, or no, got first one, lost second one, but still has always been a presence in these first few turtle fights. And Area 77 normally kind of takes their time in the first 2 minutes. They look for that 3 or 4 minute spike, that first item to really lock in.
The one thing here is that I feel like BTK has a few picks that are just a little bit more comfortable for them. The only thing, Shark, I feel like Shark kind of can sometimes be a little held back on a pick that is like a Hylos, where I feel like Shark is another one of those mechanically inclined players, where Hylos is basically just a run up, get a stun, run away, run up, lay down a glorious pathway, run up. So we're going to see how well he's able to kind of manage some of these fights.
And that seems to have been the continuous story of the past 2 games. Baj has been able to get more of the mechanically acclaimed heroes that you can make big plays on, and Shark has had to pick the more passive side of things sometimes. Just kind of be the guy who can run around a bit, get vision. He's not able to be a big playmaker for his team, and is that maybe one of the problems here?
Yeah, and I mean, it is definitely one of the problems that we've been seeing here. Starting to go on, ooh, Yureshi actually might be caught, going to take a little bit of damage, and Matilda already paying for its weight.
Big damage on a Fly Chicken, forced to pop out a flicker as this first turtle is on the field. Fly Chicken now not going to be able to maybe get away to the next big problem. Will get stunned, brought down to about half health as Yureshi chases him down with the Inferno Pursuit. Best player now trying to dash in, gets the shadow kill, looking for someone. Baj goes down as a Feathered Ike, strikes damage. Shark looking for the next target, brought down low, has to get out as Yureshi tries to fight him off, but he just can't. Fly Chicken able to find one that's 2 down for the side of Area 77 as Hunter and Shiro are forced to back off.
Shark absolutely threading the needle on that fight, taken to within a breath of his health being completely maxed out, is able to find itself an escape. They wasted so many abilities trying to take down Shark that there was nothing left. Best player able to clean up the Lord there, and a very a very smooth transition there for BTK here.
Yeah, BTK finding a very nice groove in the first few minutes. Best player already taking a small lead over Shiro here, looking comfortable. I mean, on the Hayabusa, it's a good place to be right now. He's got about 300 gold, which doesn't seem like a lot, but every item's going to count in this first phase of the game.
And we're already seeing that Joybotch is doing some great work using that guiding winds to get people out of the way. And this is the problem too. We're gonna try to latch onto Hunter, even if you can get away from that ultimate. Ooh, we do have an engagement.
ISO does use the flicker, is able to just get away, but that's gonna be a nice chunk of gold plating over the side of BTK.
Yeah, and Zia gonna go ahead and try to collect on that. But as my point is that when we're talking about some of these fights, like Hunter's gonna be able to find these escapes, especially with those guiding winds, as they go ahead put some damage on the Fly Chicken.
White Chicken is never going down, man. Is the health, the passive, everything. Like it's gonna be a tough kill to get White Chicken.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job traversing the map, making sure that he's not just an issue up at top, but able to kind of get around, be a nuisance, get that information. It's not just on the roam to kind of get that information and the positioning of the enemy teammates. You see, he's already positioning himself back at mid.
BTK, I mean, starting this off with big control. The Farza looks great on Hoon. It's creating the space, and this is one of the issues that I think Hoon was having on the Jushin. The distance, just never able to fully close it against the Farza.
Yeah, and here Hunter's been doing a great job too, and Area 77 has been doing a great job of their protection of Hunter.
The damage onto Hunter. Gonna try to protect him as much as he can. He is able to back off. It's something that he's good at, creating space and making sure he doesn't go down in the early game.
Yeah, and now BTK free to kind of get this positioning onto this turtle. Shiro has it in. You see the information going to him. They have the vision on it. Are they going to be able to protect them? White Chicken alone in the back while they're trying to take Hoon off screen, able to find a kill.
Yeah, now Best Player gonna get involved. Shiro brought down to about half health. Best Player still has a shadow kill. Just waiting for the moment to strike. He's gonna go back to the turtle though, as Yureshi drops the Infernal Pursuit onto Fried Chicken and Shark, but they're just creating space. They're just biding time as Hunter tries to move on to Best Player here. The fight still continues.
Yeah, and at the bottom, the lane is alone, so you can see that Zia on the Granger is going to go ahead and be able to get that tower at the very least, while BTK is baiting around on this turtle, looking for a fight with Area 77.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one for Area 77. Do they fight this? If they do and they win out, it could turn the table. But if BTK skates with something big here, it is trouble for Area 77. Fried Chicken able to take out Shiro. It is still standing as Hunter finally gets the kill on him. But Hunter tries to force the flicker back as Zia chases him down. Destinata does land, but he's still up as Shark runs through the tower to create space, and the turtle is still standing.
Oh, and this is just a much better game by BTK. Very much more deliberate with some of these fights. Even the deaths seem more deliberate by BTK to be able to give them time to be able to get these turtle to push back Area 77 and give Best Player the room he needs.
Yeah, BTK has found their comfort zone. They're 5K gold ahead. Hayabusa on Best Player has never looked better. He's holding 1,200.2K gold lead over Shiro right now. Shiro just having trouble keeping up as Shark continues to harass, and I mean, as Fried Chicken continues to hound and harass him.
Yeah, and even there, Fried Chicken did an excellent job being able to get the distance out there. Ooh, a nicely placed Glorious Pathway is out.
Now Yureshi does hold down the front line as Shiro tries to get a couple Ranger shots on them, but still not enough. At least they defend the tower, though.
Ooh, Shark and Z are going to go ahead and split off from the rest of the pack. I like that Glorious Pathway because it stopped Area 77 from being able to get to the tower, and we're basically one more minion wave. And Best Player doing such a great job. The macro from BTK this game is so much better, especially when there's not the threat of the Hilda. There's not the threat of the Jawhead. There's not the threat of having the Farza that can cover the map so quickly.
Yeah, you know, I know the Jushin has been so clutch, but I think we're getting to a point where maybe Farza is the new big problem. Even in that position there, help with the macro, help with running to those offlanes and being backup for Best Player when he needs him. I mean, we're seeing how overall utility to damage, it just supplies all the options.
Well, and not just that, but we're being very patient. Ooh, we do have a shadow kill onto the back line with the feathered airstrike to kind of bring back the line of Area 77 as BTK pushes through the mid tower, opening up the map of Area 77.
Yeah, and that's big. I mean, the last two games were close, but this one is looking like a stomp for BTK.
Yeah, and that's the amazing thing right now. BTK have completely turned this around with being able to take away a lot of those threats. The big thing, too, is we're not able to kind of get to that back line. We're not able to get to Hoon to really shut down these feathered airstrikes. Not just that, but a best player or Fly Chicken is doing such a great job of pushing back the back line, baiting out a lot of these abilities, getting very low, and that's when the feathered airstrike comes out. And then Area 77 needs to make a decision. Do we keep on attacking Fly Chicken? Do we turn around on Hoon? And that's where BTK is shining here, as they get another objective.
Yeah, I mean, the tables have completely turned. They're dealing with the same problems that BTK had. They're unable to break through that front line. Fried Chicken is the immortal being right now, just not going down. Same thing with Shark. And as long as Hoon and Zia are just poking from the backside, I mean, they have great range. You have the Destinata, you have the Feathered Airstrike. You're just completely stiff-arming. Look at Best Player in the backside, completely chunking them down, also pushing Area 77 into a hole.
Yeah, and they're doing, and that's a great job too. A great thing to point out is the poking ability coming from BTK. So not only do you have to worry about the suppressive fire coming from Hoon and coming from Zia on this Granger, but then Best Player can dive into the back line, start chunking you down as well. Here comes another immense artillery blast coming from Hoon.
And look at the damage. Tower does go down. It's looking like a mirror image of last series, but this time it's BTK on the strong foot. Yureshi tries to dash in, but unable to find nothing but air there. Area 77 just trying to defend with all they can. Can they make the play happen? Circling Eagle does come in, able to get the knockup. Look at the damage on Zia. Yureshi trying to push it back, but Zia flickers back himself. Shiro low. Hoon finds the kill, drops the feathered airstrike to let Area 77 know we're still here.
Threading the needle perfectly there. They try to latch on. They force Yureshi to go so deep back with that demonic force to try to take down Zia. It puts him into harm's way. The rest of Bloodthirsty Kings close in around him.
All right. Ooh, Baj getting low as well. BTK able to take the tower. They have 2 minions plus minions on the top side. Move on, switch up, take down another inhibitor. BTK gets what they came for.
Ooh, and we do have Hoon sitting in that precise bush to go ahead and rain down damage. Best Player thinks twice about that quad shadow he lays out there. And man, this is what I was talking about, especially having a Farsha on your team. It is so hard to protect those high ground towers from the positioning that they can lay out that feathered airstrike.
Look at the difference, the gold deficit, the oppression between ISO and Zia right now. ISO is just getting his third item locked in. We're 11 and a half minutes in almost. This is troublesome. Shiro as well, nothing but a Hunter Strike and a War Axe. The damage just isn't there for Area 77. And Hoon only has 3 items locked in as well, but he is chunking them boys down.
Nothing but a Hunter Strike and a War Axe and a Dream, and right now BTK is crushing that into a nightmare. And I absolutely love the pickup. My big point was for the Jawhead, but being able to take this Farsha away from them too, adding it to your repertoire has been a game changer for BTK and been able to help secure a lot of these engagements. As long as Hoon stays out of the mix, as long as Hoon stays with that great positioning, laying down that feathered airstrike, BTK is going to have a gold-paved road down to Area 77 core.
I think there's a very important thing to note here. When Area 77 won their games, they were close. When BTK finds their groove, they have only lost 1 tower. They have barely lost anything at all, and they have kept a strong gold lead. It's looking at almost 12K at this point. We're breaking into that zone. I don't know if Area 77 can defend this Lord.
Yeah, we're about to find out. No high ground towers left. Lord crashes in.
Look at the damage on Ashiro. Immediately annihilated as Joyboss tries to get in the back line. Yureshi does everything he can to buy time, but it's just not going to be enough as BTK takes game number 2.
Never down and out. RBTK, they finally wake up with a very dominating performance in Game 3.
I mean, that's huge, right? We got us a series at this point. BTK tweak the draft a little bit, get comfortable in themselves, and just smash down onto Area 77. Taking a look at the stats, best player 104, Hoon 306, Zia 203. Every damage dealer on the side of BTK never took a hit.
Yeah, and the only deaths coming from Shark and Fried Chicken there. Just such a great and phenomenal job, and a well-executed plan as well. 0-2 to 9. You can take a look here at the damage dealt. Hoon here with 50k damage here. Actually outdone by Zia on the Granger. So just those two combinations meant that they were just able to be so lethal from so far away that once they got the ball rolling, once we hit that mid game, no tower stood a chance. There was no way to be able to defend this. Matilda, Joybosh was never able to kind of get to that back line to be able to make that type of play. And when they tried, when Yureshi went with that demonic force to try to get to the back line, there was just too much mobility. If it was Hoon, you had the wings by wings. If it was Zia, there was the immense amount of dashes that he could put out, and eventually that ultimately cost Yureshi, and he ended up taking those deaths as he was deep in enemy lines.
I mean, BTK is back in good fashion right there. You talked about the damage, and then the damage taken. When we take a look at Yureshi there, I mean, he was just a punching bag. He was doing everything he could, but it just wasn't enough. And, you know, Area 77, they're able to play very aggressive. They're able to kind of always, you know, get in the ring with you when gold is even or they are at a lead. But once they fell behind 3 or 4K gold, it seemed like they wanted to keep on forcing those fights or keep on staying in them just a little bit too long.
Yeah, and look at that. Even Shark was so low on that fight and was having some huge, was having to kind of turn things around. But we could see from a lot of these fights, they were able to kind of force their will here. And look, and with, you could see Hoon, he's gonna lay down a lot of that suppression, a lot of that artillery to be able to kind of take down all of these towers. I mean, these all went, I think this was the same push where they were able to take down all of the high ground towers. And that's just amazing for how quickly BTK was able to kind of come back. I expect there to be some adjustments from Area 77. There's some picks, all right, the Jawhead's getting banned out, but now there needs to be a plan for Hoon on this Farja. We're probably going to need to take that off there. We're going to need to allow some things as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was First Lord right there. They take all inhibitors, and then by the time they took all the inhibitors, Second Lord was ready for the taking. So it was a quick finish from 9 minutes on. The game was in their hands.
Yeah, and an amazing game played there. This is something I was kind of harping on from the beginning. And I understand there are certain things, certain aspects that were probably prioritized than getting out that Jawhead, but a much smoother game without Jawhead being an issue for us and picking up the Farja.
So Liz, whether you thought it was going to be a sweep for BTK and then maybe switch sides to Area 77, we got us a series now. How are we feeling?
I mean, I have everything under control. Everything is as predicted. We know that every season for the grand finals, BTK has been known to come back from a little bit of a slump in the very beginning. It was definitely nail-biting matches for all the viewers at home, but at the end of the day, the third game was a completely different BTK that we've seen today so far. And maybe they just had to take away the bot tilt with that Jawhead.
How are you feeling about how ineffective they made that Zushin from the last game? As we've noticed that there's a beautiful cosplay that you're wearing today.
Yeah, I mean, feeling good. I think we just need to do a little bit more of that lantern to get BTK back into the zone. But this game right now is still, the series is still in the favor of Area 77, and it could be the game for both teams. So it's definitely a grand finals that you don't want to miss out. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to take a short break and be back for a halftime show.
車輪ガンの本当の力をな。力が湧いてくる。相変わらずやかましい奴らだ。
Dragon in agile fashion, we jump into action, dashing, perspectives are clashing. Oh, 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 we're taking on the fight. Justice is found. Transform into battle now. Judgment's gavel coming down. Fighting for the righteous justice. Fighting for the priceless truth. Blurring all the lines between the bad and the good. Yeah. Fighting for the justice no matter what we do. Three perspectives sharing one objective, yeah. Everybody's fighting for the truth. Justice calls.
We're back, everyone. You are watching the grand finals of the NACT 2025 Spring, and today we are having a halftime show. No crazy performances like the NACT Spring 2024, where Private gets to do his little dance, but we are looking at some analysis of the performance that we saw so far, which has been exhilarating, as exhilarating as the dance that Private did. So we saw some crazy moves by both teams. Area 77 coming on stronger than anyone has probably expected watching at home. It really shows the momentum that they've been getting from all their sweeps in the past 2 days, as well as the synergy that they created with the boot camp that they're in right now. So for Private, I know Area 77 was or is still your favorite team that you've been advocating for every single season. What do you think was so crucial to that team and how they were able to perform so well?
For me, I felt like both of these teams, Area 77 really had a great focus on to the marksmen and on to the mage. First, it started off with the pressure that they were able to exert onto Hoon, bringing him down. You can see here 0-5 into that first game, and once they knew that they had isolated down Hoon, they started focusing their efforts onto Zia to kind of shut him down. I don't think too many people, we've talked so much till we're blue in the face about how well Zia can play, but especially having a pick pick like a Farja that just excels so well against marksman, and the way that they were able to play that, not just against Zia, but how well they were able to play it against Hoon. A lot of times the Farja came into these fights very late, making sure that a lot of these abilities were exerted. They caught Hoon off, they caught Hoon very quickly, able to take him down, and eventually found victory in that. And especially not just having that distance type of victory, that distance game where the offense, the poking ability that they had, but also close in, having that jawhead. A great game there played by Joybaj, being able to bring in, to capture a lot of those squishier picks like the Zia, like Hoon, and even finding fried chicken as well.
Yeah, and for Trex, how do you think BTK has been performing? What do you think was the reason that allowed them to come back and pull out that performance in the third game that we just saw?
Listen, there's only two things we need to talk about, all right, guys? There's only two things. First of all, BTK needed the losing buff, right? They needed to lose 2 games to get their buff on. We've seen it in multiple seasons. We've seen it happen back-to-back. We've seen reverse sweeps. They need to, they got to be punched in the face a few times before they really heat up. Secondly, it's just the draft, baby. It's just the draft. They found the tweak. They found the answer. And Area 77's going to have trouble keeping up now that BTK knows it's there. They gotta, now Area 77's on the foot of what can we tweak? Because with BTK, the way they're looking after that last game, it wasn't a close game like the first 2 times. It was a stomp fest. We're talking 11K gold lead over to the hands of BTK. Game finished in under 13 minutes. I mean, they're back in their confidence. They're back in their prime. And if Area 77 doesn't find a way to slow that down, we're looking at some more wins for the side of BTK.
Yeah, and wrapping that up, guys, for both of these casters, you are advocating for one team, just analyzing what went wrong, what went well for each of these teams. What do you think is... Well, we'll let the casters take more into this after the break, but we're going to have an interview with Layla, a member of the community, a streamer. Welcome, Layla. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you, Liz? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. So a lot of people might not know you well enough from the community. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I just love playing mlbb. I've been playing since 2017, I would say, and I just started streaming this whole journey on Twitch. This just been really fun,
Yeah.
and also meeting a lot of new people.
Yeah, and you just basically stream ML. What else do you do?
I am also a personal trainer. That's actually my part-time job. Yeah, so but right now I'm trying to do more of like a streamer. We're trying to go towards that side, so that's what we'll be doing, and what you'll be seeing a lot from me.
Yeah, and how do people find you for stream?
Oh, perfect. So I am right now streaming, or not right now, but right after the interview, I will be back on Twitch streaming the NACT Championship.
Well, so make sure to follow. Yeah, what's your stream handle, actually?
Okay, the stream handle is just Layla Bay XO. So if you search that up on Twitch, you'll see me. I stream 6 days a week, along with my blind Pomeranian puppy.
Wow, that's adorable and also very consistent. So good job to that. And today you've been watching and restreaming the grand finals. Which team are you actually supporting?
I have to say, everybody I think is rooting for BTK, but I would really like to see Area 77 win.
Yeah,
So
let's just make a new team, BTA and Area 77 together. BTA.
But yes, I want to see Area 77 win.
So you want some new blood into the mix. What do you think so far about the grand finals? Because the Area 77 put out a pretty strong performance.
Yes, I told everybody ban Jawhead and ban Farsa. I mean, we saw the third game, right? When BTK took Farsa, it's a whole different story now. So I think Farsa as a hero is very overpowered. So if you don't ban her, pick her definitely, and I think that would make a big difference in that game.
You told them to ban Jaw and ban Far, so which team are you really supporting here? BTK?
No, but we see it. We see it. 3 games. There's Farsa, and with the Farsa on the team, that is the win.
Yeah, nevertheless, both teams are looking very strong, and we're seeing an amazing performance coming out from both teams, and a very exciting grand final so far. So for you, besides restreaming the tournament, you're also playing ML, right? Are we gonna see you join the MWI one day?
Um, if I will be, we will try to get there. I don't think I'm a pro player. I'm probably just gonna be more of an entertaining player to watch.
Are you going to be restreaming the MWI, which is going to be happening next weekend?
Of course, I'll be there.
Yeah, so make sure you support Layla on her streams and catch the MWI as well as this tournament, and Layla on her casual streams. And maybe one day Layla will join us as a pro player in the community.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm
Yes.
so excited to get back into the game and watch this final.
Yeah, and so are we. Thank you, Layla, for joining us. We're gonna get right back into the discussion that we had earlier with the wonderful Trex and Private popping back on the stream. But before that, we actually have a giveaway for our audiences. So we're catching you by surprise. Make sure you are still tuning in to all of our discussions. On the screen, you should see in a bit that we're gonna pull out a QR code in any minute. So make sure you stand by. In the meantime, casters, it has just been a crazy show today. There's still many more games to play. Do you think we're gonna see a back-to-back-to-back victory from either side?
Well, I think these next game is crucial for Area 77 because they came here with a game plan to counter, and then which got them 2 victories. Now they've been countered themselves by BTK with those picks. This next game is going to show us, does Area 77 have the ability to adjust in a way to make them successful, to keep this going, or was that all they had in the tank?
And
Yeah, I think
Trax, I saw
that's what
you
best of sevens are always going to come
pull
down
out
to,
a little
right?
jersey.
It's the adjust.
Show
what
us
are
your
you talking
jersey.
about? I don't know.
Show
what
us
you're
your
talking about.
jersey. I saw that. I
What?
saw that, guys.
Listen,
This
I
man.
have, please don't interrupt me, Liz. Liz, please
How
do
can I not?
interrupt me. Anyways, as I was saying, in a best of 7, you have to be able to adjust in draft. BTK took 2 losses. It took them some time, but they were able to find the answer. So now Area 77 is on the back foot, and they need to find, what do we need to ban? What do we need to prio to find that answer? Is it the Farza? Is it the Hayabusa? What's the new most important thing on the field?
Yeah, I know what's the most important thing for our audiences right now is we have the giveaway ready. Let's pull that QR code out. Make sure you have your phones ready to scan that QR code and type that code in for your chance to, this time is 50 permanent skins. So there's more chances for all the audiences who are still tuned in, still supporting us. Make sure to be one of the first 50 lucky winners of that skin.
Oh, and then I just noticed that too. 50 people have an opportunity here, so try to get on that. They still will go very fast, so you guys need to make sure that you are getting that scan very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we love giveaways. I love looking at the giveaway screen. I think the best thing too is all these giveaways haven't had like dust in them or anything. It's been nothing, but it's not been like a chest. It's been straight permanent skins, big diamonds, big money.
Yeah, big diamonds, big money, a lot of excitement. Make sure you are one of the first 50 people to scan that skins. Some very exciting skins looking for our viewers, and some very exciting games coming up. I know we've been hyping both teams up. They've demonstrated through their performance that don't count any team out. They're both stacked in, locked in the zone in their boot camps, and they've just been showing how great the synergy is. And only Trex is wearing a little jersey on. I don't know if that's going
Just
to
hot.
change
I
the
had to get rid
luck
of the button
for
up.
the
It was
team.
hot, man. I was
Yeah,
sweating.
it's so
I need
hot
something
in
comfortable.
Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Sure, it's at Trax's defense, but we are supporting both teams nonetheless. We're just supporting the NA community. Whoever wins have definitely earned their spots. They've been so consistently playing well this season, and both of these teams actually have been. Both of these teams have actually been on a streak. So I hope you guys are ready because the fourth game of the series is ready. So casters, take us into this match.
Yeah, and thank you for that intro, Liz. We are ready. It is going to be the second half of these matches, potentially. And the thing, and actually Layla brought up a great point here, was that Farja, 100% win rate for this series. And is that something that there needs to be, well, it's not, there needs to be an answer for that if it's going to be picked up here, because of how lethal it is for the marksmen on the teams and how well these teams have been doing at protecting that. I don't think, usually I want to say in the past, I think we found it more easier to get to that back line to be able to kind of disrupt a Farza once it comes down. Right now, the damage is just too much. By the time you get to the Farza, by the time you stop her from being able to rain down that damage, you've already taken 1 to 2 to 3 feathered airstrikes, you've dropped down your team, and it is an issue that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, especially, and it just works even better with the way that the EXP lane and the Roam are right now, with how bulky, tanky heroes are in 2 lanes. And once you get into these big 5v5s, it's just so tough to touch the Farza. And she has the burst damage to shred down your bulky heroes. So, I mean, it's definitely a weird position. But another weird position, A77 now on the red side, where BTK seemed to have the advantage, right? Last time they won their first game on the red side. Could this be something important for A77 if they want to get another one with that swing back of those second 2 picks?
Yeah, and that's been the interesting thing too, is like I feel like as much as a lot of people think that having the first pick would be the advantage, I want to say historically it feels like the reply has always been stronger. The counter 2 picks when it comes to the beginning of the draft that we've been seeing here. Oh, and Valentina taken off the board. So something, yeah, I was gonna say something spicy.
That's a
in
throw
the
ban
works here for Area 77.
Yeah, that is definitely a throw ban to try to get as much out of this trade as possible. The Hayabusa, the Joy still open, Fovia still open. A lot of things on the field, and now BTK, it's like, do they focus the Kimmy again like last time? Do they just lock in the Hayabusa safely and put best player on something comfortable? In my eyes, that could be the thing, but no, we go for the Lucas instead.
Yeah, and Lucas, not only is Lucas just, I was going to say great, but also annoying to deal with. I mean, we've seen it throughout this tournament. He can be at 10% health, still be able to get to the back line, still be able to get the damage, get the kill, and be able to get out of harm's way. But this is also something that is flexible for BTK. It can be played in the XP lane. It can be played in the as a jungler. Heck, it can even be played as a roamer if you want. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that from Shark, but it's just something that kind of leaves that question mark open or BTK, and we're going to see what Area 77 are going to reply with. Is Farja going to be the prio?
I'm wondering if maybe they thought they were going to get the Lucas in that trade. Like, that's why we leave it open. They get the Farza, though, which, again, if we're going by Layla's textbook, this is already GG's for the side of Area 77. Instead of picking up a jungler now, because they know they can get it in their 3rd pick, they go for the Cho. It secures something strong and safe for Baj, and also it gives possible flexibility. BTK has some flexibility. Now Area 77 has it as well. We saw Yureshi play the Cho very cleanly in earlier days, so this isn't something out of the realm for them.
Yeah, and I like the Cho pickup, because one thing about Lucas is his ability to get to that back line. Especially, I've seen mostly a lot of him with that Vengeance on, but with a Flicker on, he's absolutely unstoppable of him getting to that back line. You have a Cho on your team now you have just a little bit of security. If somebody tries to jump onto your Farza, you'll have that that way of the dragon kick to be able to kind of create that distance, create that spread for Farza to be able to get away here. I like the pickups here by BTK2 as well. Zuxin not having a great few games just yet, so hopefully more successful as we move into this next game.
Yeah, pretty much Zhujian has lost every game. It has lost every game against Farza right now. Farza is the new meta mid, at least in the NACT Grand Finals. But the big wrench in all of this is going to be that Lucas. Is that the answer? Is that the big switch up? Fried Chicken gets his hands on the Hilda, which, I mean, the Cho is great, but it's not that tanky roam. I mean, it's a playmaker. And don't get me wrong, in the hands of Baj, you can make plays, but you still got to find some chunky front line like Fried Chicken has right now.
Ooh, and with the joy taken by Area 77, I'm expecting some of those counters. Jagata already taken off the board. I'm wondering what is the plan from BTK to deal with this joy with what we have out there. I know that we get a lot of CC coming out from Hoon, but historically, as we've seen in these last matches, the big prio in the early game, shut down Hoon. Make sure that he is not going to be a factor, that he is not going to be able to get that scaling. Once we shut down Hoon, I want to say we kind of scale over to dealing with Zia to make sure that he's not a factor. I want to say there has been some focus onto Fried Chicken, but here on a Hilda, I feel like the more focus you put onto a Hilda, the more it kind of plays into BTK's hands. You're wasting your abilities, you're allowing him to do what he needs to kind of get that zonage away, and it allows them to kind of come in and get that sneaky second. The problem here, are we going to be able to get the Farja and shut her down?
Yeah, I mean, that's all. That seems to have been the question for the past 3 games, right? And Farza has normally been safe. Kimmy is open, but Kimmy does not have the greatest escapability to this Lucas, right? It's kind of a scary pick right now. Even with the Joy on the field, could be a scary pick from BTK, and I think it's why it's not getting banned, the Wan taken out, because of the ability to kite, because of the ability for ISO to kind of dance around and kind of get some free shots off. So what do we look at for a marksman? Does Area 77 once again save it for their last pick? Last time they were on red side, that's what they did. They locked in the EXP or Roam on this red side first pick, a second phase, and saved that spot for something to maybe counterplay with.
And I'm wondering if we're going to be looking at a Matilda out there, since we had the Esmeralda ban taken out there. Harith is already off the field, so it's not going to be countering that. But they were definitely wanting to get that Esmeralda off of there. And right now, there really isn't too many shields generating picks out there. I guess Hilda, when they go into the bush, you get a bit of defense for the Lucas pickup. ISO seems comfortable. Didn't really have a great game on the carry last game, but I want to say the second game he did very well on it. They were able to scale up into the back here. Oh, and we do have Zia going on the Moskov. This is something I like because it helps with BTK being able to have 2 avenues of success, not just at the team fights, but being able to split push as well. Instead of trying to match Joy with a Hayabusa or match Joy with something else in that split push, you have another answer in Zia who's going to be able to kind of get those push, and he can even create this. He does fairly well against the Joy as well.
I mean, just creating space, right? Whenever someone tries to dive on him, getting the dash, getting that pushback, possible crowd control, and then they go for the Ruby again here too, which last time it didn't do too well, but it's a great counter to the Cho, man. It is a great counter whenever he tries to come in, because he's not just an instant attack. Joy Baj, if he's going to be the one using this show, he's going to be forced to use flickers, not as much of the, the kind of sliding around, because if he gets hit by Shark and then he gets pushed back by Zia, it's going to be a quick death to him. So he's going to have to be very careful on how he approaches these attacks.
Ooh, and then we have the CC finally picked up by Area 77, a great single target, sometimes duo targets, being able to expend that damage to be able to take them down as well. Farza on the side of Area 77. The big thing here is, are we going to be able to shut that down with what we have on the side of BTK, or as Layla put it, is it basically GG in the favor of Area 77?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a close call. I think I like BTK's draft here. I think they found some great answers. It's going to be a lot of execution. And same thing to Area 77, a lot of how they execute this. They do have the Farza, which has been such a powerful pick. The Joy without the Hayabusa on the field, also a very strong pick. But in my eyes, a lot of this could come down between Zia and ISO.
Yeah, another thing is that when it comes to some of these games, Area 77, because they had the Jawhead, they were able to make those plays in the early game, and BTK was always responding. This time, I think they have a better way, better avenues to go ahead and start this as we move into that game 4.
Yeah, BTK puts the match, puts a point on the board, trying to tie things up, trying to bring us to a game 5, maybe a game 6 or 7, and I like it. Right now, Area 77 has to be the ones who are thinking, and I'm excited to see how we approach in this early stage. With the Cho on the field, I can see Area 77 being a bit more in the river control section in the early phase.
Yeah, and right now, especially with Shark, I've talked about it before, Ruby does need a little bit of time to kind of get some of those items, get some of that cooldown to where she's going to be having a lot of that effort that she can exert on the enemies, the CC that she can bring out there, and especially with something like a Farja. Shark, who has the Flicker, could probably potentially get into that back line, flicker in, and be able to interrupt that feathered airstrike. But as we've seen, both of these teams have been very great about their use of that. They don't wait. They wait until like the action is already unfolded, until the team is pretty much knee deep in fighting against one of their players. Then that feathered airstrike comes out, and you have to make the decision: do we continue on this fight? Do we turn on Hunter? Do we have to disappear?
And we're seeing some of the trouble that Shark can cause for Baj when he tries to go in. He gets stopped in his track for a second, and it buys that little second of time for the side of BTK.
Yeah, and Shark already doing great jobs of zoning out Joy Baj right now. Best player and the fried chicken move into the bush. I think we're kind of maybe, this is one of the things I was talking about before, where we kind of linger and we possibly force a fight, but BTK doing a great job trying to get that distancing in as they start on this first turtle.
Look at the aggression on Shiro. He's forced to reroute around the back. Nice knock up on it. 2 members, though. But here comes best player looking for some damage. Shiro pushed back, pulled back, taken out. Fried chicken with the first blood. BTK looking to take this first turtle.
Oh, that was just a magnetic combo that they put onto Shiro with the pullback and to the pop-up, and then the damage coming out from best player. They immediately turn around, snatch up this first turtle.
A good start for BTK. Hunter, though, on the hunt for Zia here. Not able to find any big value out of that push down to the boss side. Let's take a look at the items, though. At least some of the gold.
Yeah, we take a look at the gold, too, and especially when it comes into that marksman lane. It does feel like ISO just narrowly having the edge over Zia right now, and that might be a little bit of a problem as we move into the mid and late game. Feathered airstrike
does come down, pushing Hoon back, and there's that range once again that we're seeing. Shark, though, continuing to keep tabs, continuing to get information for his team in the face of Area 77.
Yeah, and doing such a great job of it right now, and we're still sitting at 1-0, still having a little bit of a problem. Hunter trying to get that distance. Like I said, it's a little bit more of an issue when you don't have the Jawhead making those plays. Shark doing a great job.
Another big I'm offended. A little bit of damage from Chicken. Area 77 able to back off, but ISO might be in trouble. Pops a Speedy lightly. Look at the damage. ISO does get, Spear of Destruction. He comes in. Zia finds the kill. He's caught now in the midst of that airstrike. Taken out as well. Gold laner for gold laner, but now Hood locked onto Hunter and finds the kill. 2 for 1. BTK keeping it aggressive.
Ooh, I was just about to go into like how intelligent is to get that 1-for-1 swap as you go in to the backside to get the kill onto ISO, but then you die to Hunter. But we did have Hoon right there to go ahead pick off Hunter as well, making it a 2-for-1.
Ooh, Baj hunting for best player here. Not going to be able to get it. Decides to back off. But this is something the best player does so well at, man. He knows you'll always see him at those off lanes. Always kind of split pushing. It's his inner old assassin player play style, man. The guy is always looking for moments to push on those towers.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I want to say Hoon has been a lot more aggressive with that Crimson Beacon, using it more aggressively for offense, more than, Yureshi actually in trouble.
Yeah, Yureshi's not in trouble. Yureshi is dead. Yureshi is gone, and this is going to give a big advantage to the second turtle for BTK.
Oh, and on the backside, Shark doing a great job zoning out Shiro and being able to use that CC. This is something that we haven't seen too often. But amongst with all the CC that you can put out, and in trouble, Shiro.
That crab might have not been worth it. He is able to. No, I'm offended. Shiro trying to escape with his life. He just makes it away. I guess the crab was worth it.
The crab was worth it. He makes it out of there. And BTK looking to lose their top tower here. Fly Chicken powerless to go ahead and stop that. It's been a back-to-back, but without the aggressiveness of the Jawhead, without the fear of that, I feel like Hunter just has not been having a great game.
ISO deleted. Fly Chicken is hunting right now. This man is the EXP leader. He's on a Hilda. He's 3-0-0. He's got over 50% of the kills for BTK right now.
Yeah, and being shut down, that is another tower down for the side of Area 77. 1-2 right now. Fly Chicken doing a great job baiting out these abilities from the backside, and things looking a little grim for Area 77. ISO sitting at 0-2 right now. Oh, big dragon kick.
Yeah, Baj gets the hit onto Shark, able to take Shark down. Fly Chicken on the run. Shark, though, looking for Shiro. Shiro low. Spirit Destruction still sitting there. Zia's not going to go for the commit as ISO brings out the Speedy Light Wheel. Hunter decides to pop the Wings by Wings, but decides to back off as well. Arius, oh! Best player hunts him down in the back line and strikes out Yureshi.
Yeah, a big boy damage coming out from Best Player with the flank. Takes out Yureshi from out of nowhere. That is, especially with all that damage. And Hunter is down from Fly Chicken as ISO comes in just a little late for the protection.
Baj misses that way of the dragon, and that could be his death. ISO with the Speedy Light Wheel, looking for anything, looking for purchase, but it's just not there. Zia gets a kill into his pocket.
Yeah, 8-2 right now. Domination for BTK. Fly Chicken sitting at 4-0-1 right now on this Hilda. We were talking about some of the other picks there, but Chicken right now is having the game of his life.
Yeah, this guy is having the match of his life for sure. You don't see this every day at home. You don't see this every day in ranked games. 4-0-1 on the Hilda. We said it was a tanky hero. This is a monster right now on the field.
Yeah, and absolutely becoming that threat to the back line, not just to the back line, but this means that he's going to be able to have even more tanking power, even more pushing power to be able to zone out the rest of Area 77. And this is going to be a problem for Hunter, because where does he set up? Where does he get and put in that damage? ISO needs to be very close. Even Carry, for as much as it is a marksman, it has probably one of the shortest ranges of any of the marksmen. So they're going to be trying to get in close. You're going to have to be dealing with this very powerful, very strong front line from BTK.
And that's one of the issues right now with the Tro. That was one of the worries, right? It's, yes, you can make plays happen, but you're not that bulky. You're not biding enough time for ISO or Hunter to really pop off. You're creating too many gaps by diving away. Fly Chicken, Best Player, all of them are able to get to that back line.
Yeah, and Farja just, 1-2 right now. Another 2 deaths on ISO, 2 on Yureshi. Area 77 has yet to find that glide. You were talking about it before. When BTK is on it, when BTK knows what they're doing, when they're able to kind of get that momentum, it is a wheel that is so hard to stop. And it is so dominating that it's very hard to even find those little bits of breathing room. Here, attacking on 2 towers at once.
Yeah, conceal play just to try to move. Big kick onto 3, but still, you're stopped. You're hunted down. You're taken out. Baj can't make a play happen right now. Every time he goes in, bloodthirsty Tings just take him out of the map.
A little bit of a misplay there too, because he latched onto Shark on accident, and I'm sure he wanted one of the squishier heroes, Shark, and he didn't even get him over the wall. He crashed right into the wall, a little bit of a misdirection, and unfortunately, he was on the wrong side of that wall. The rest of Area 77 was not in a position to help, and you were talking about it. Now we're at a point where Area 77 is starting to force plays. They're not as comfortable. They're not. They don't have the advantage like they did in those first 2 games.
Yeah, they have to be able to think about it like, if we're plus 5K behind, looking at almost 10K. We're closing into that gap right now, 9K. You cannot go for the big plays. You have to play it safe. You have to play like BTK played it when they were losing, where you're just kind of waiting for those moments. And the problem is Area 77's composition isn't made for waiting for those moments exactly.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. And sometimes it just kind of comes down to kind of slowly being choked out, slowly trying to turtle this things in and waiting for that opportunity, waiting for BTK to make a mistake, which they're not really making right now. And we've talked about it before. BTK is one of those teams that the later and later it gets, the more games that they play, the later the hour is, the better they are at being able to get those comebacks. And here right now, with them in control, it's going to be very hard for Area 77 to find that footing.
Now watch for Zia. My guy just got in the Malefic gun. We're looking at a little bit more range added onto a Moskov who doesn't have a lot, but that range could make the difference when trying to break through these towers, when trying to take on these team fights.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, I was very surprised at the aggressiveness of Hoon with this. The first two fights we saw, he used that Crimson Beacon very aggressively instead of like using it to try to get away, and that really set the stage, kept this snowball rolling. We're down one high ground at the 10-minute mark right now. Area 77, 10K gold behind right now, looking for some type of opportunity. They go deep in on Hunter.
Zia gets the pushback on Shiro, hunting him down, looking for one more hit, but Shiro's able to just get away. Now best player moving on the next one. ISO is able to take out Fried Chicken. Best player under the tower. Yureshi able to take him out. Area 77 are defending, maybe looking for the fight back, but they decide to back off. They are able to come out in a good defense.
Ooh, I mean, they're able to kind of tie this up. They're able to get some kills off on their own, but they went a little deep there onto Hunter. Concealed play even flickered in. Hunter was able to get away, but that put a few of them at harm's way. Even able to bring down Fried Chicken, who's sitting at 4, 1, and a 2. So a little signs of life still from Area 77, and that's what we're talking about. Those little mistakes. Be patient. Allow BTK to kind of come in, make some of those mistakes, and that is where you will find your opening. Unfortunately, not enough just yet for Area 77 to kind of turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, look at the items. Zia's about to get in that rose gold. Gonna give him now he's got range. He's gonna have some defense. Taking a look at ISO. He does have the Trinity in. He's looking for the next item. We are starting to see the damage start to be output by ISO. So Area 77, yeah, I think at this point in the game, it is a time. It's a clock that we are waiting for, to where Joybaj is taking enough to take a couple more hits, to where Shiro can do enough damage to really be a nuisance to Zia, to where Hunter can do enough burst damage to maybe get Fried Chicken and Shark low enough to where the rest of the team can clean up.
I mean, Hunter has been having a rough game. He's only got 2 items at the 12-minute mark right now. So, and on a Farzer, you still do enough damage, but just Hoon has been doing such a great job of trying to keep the distance here. Joybaz back and forth, actually gets put back.
Oh, man, that is tough. Area 77, Hunter now caught by the Spear of Destruction. Zia wipes him out. Hoon gets the double kill, though. Shiro no longer looking like a hero under the tower, as Yureshi just tries to defend, but a Lord's going to be coming soon, and it's only 3 members on the map for Area 77.
12-4, 13-minute mark right now. BTK with another Lord looming, and that is something dangerous for Area 77. Last high ground tower meeting its end by Zia. BTK looking to put this game into the record books.
Zia is 1v3 right now. Lord coming down. Minions on the mid side. Area 77 just trying to defend, grasping at anything they can right now. The Feathered Airstrike does drop down, able to get some nice shots onto Shark there. They're able to clear these bottom minions before the Lord comes, but BTK is lining up behind it. They don't have minions on the far side. They're still pushing. Don't give me the winner cam just yet. Area 77's not out. Joybaj looks for the kick, gets him against the wall. He's now in a bad spot, but here comes Area 77. Best player able to find Baj. Best player able to find Yureshi. Hoon with the big flare, looking for a target. ISO finds best player, but Shiro's getting taken out. Zia's locking on the base, and Area 77 could be going down for another game, but they're still defending. Hunter finds Fried Chicken. Shark off the map, but the base finally drops, and BTK tie up the series.
What a game by BTK. TK, see the winners cam here right now. I do appreciate it. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate Area 77. Take that loss. High fives all around. It's like, all right, we'll gotta develop another plan for it. You don't even see the frustration just yet, but man, what a dominating game by BTK there.
Yeah, I mean, just same thing as last game. Once they found the answer, once they tweaked a bit, it is no longer looking like a standstill. It is looking like BTK is still very much the favorites.
Oh yes, definitely 17-6 right here. You could take a look at it. 5-1-8 for Zia, 5-0-11 for Hoon. It looks like the Jushin has finally found its mark, found out where they're able to excel, and that is because of they took out that major effect that was able to be that lethality, that early offense in the Jawhead. Hunter is no longer comfortable being able to kind of get some of those. Even that last airstrike, the frustration that kind of came out of it is that the feathered airstrike was used a little early in my books, especially when you had a Lord coming down to base. That could have cleared out some of those minions there. And then the Lord comes, you don't have a feathered airstrike, and a Lord pretty much slapping in at the cores. We take a look at some of these other stats.
Look at the damage dealt, and I just want to point out Zia has 63k, but that was all towards the second half of that match right there. The guy, once he got online, he was chunking. Once we saw that first big Spear of Destruction, even though he died to that, we knew that Zia was online. We knew that Zia was ready to play, and he looked comfortable, looked great on that Moskov.
And the one thing that kind of that wows me out is one of the things that's really great about Moskov too is that he has that split pushing potential. He didn't even need to exert that here. He just brought it immediately to the team fights. Used that Spirit of Destruction to come in a little bit of the late game, being able to kind of, or a little bit of the late in the team fights and be able to kind of find what he needed. Great game here played. I see the theory behind some of the drafts in game 2, bringing in the Ruby. They just needed the answer of having the Jawhead off the table as well. Ruby did such a great job of being able to shut down the Joy, get in onto the Farja as well, shut down the Cho as well. Every single time he went in, tried to get that dragon kick, to the point that I felt like they were going out of their way to make some of these really questionable plays they were trying to get onto BTK.
And taking a look at some of these replays, I mean, this is the beginning, the onslaught of Fried Chicken, just helping them dominate the early game and making those kills matter. Kills onto Shiro, kills onto ISO here. They always had the right targets.
Yeah, and that was that beginning you talked about where Zia just comes in with the Spear of Destruction, able to find himself a kill. Even here, like the Spear of Destruction comes in, but they're able to find themselves some kills as well. That was after the kill that Best Player had on the back line, and here is that mess up. This is when they started getting a little sloppy. Joybot gets picked apart on the back line, goes in, only finds a Shark, and that was unfortunate because he wasn't even able to get him over the wall. The secondary thing is that if he got Shark over the wall, he would have been able to dash right back over.
Yeah, I mean, it's even if he gets him over, there were so many times where I think Baj just shouldn't have gone for it, but that's the way Baj plays, man. And I think that's going to be one of the things that he needs to work on if they're going to try to turn around this series. Even here, I think if they don't go for that Lord, if they just let them have it and just be ready for defense, maybe they stood a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, I mean, a great game here played by BTK. Unfortunately, I mean, we've talked about ISO, we've talked about Zia, we've talked about both of them. Great marksmen in their own mind, but once they get going, especially Zia here, it's very hard to stop him. Not just that, but Hoon was doing a great job being able to kind of create that distance. Farja, it seems like Farja isn't really that effective when you don't have the advantage.
It looks like the Jushin cosplay from Liz was an investment. You know, it was a slow roll. You had to wait for the stonk come up, and it's finally starting to pay some dividends with a match like that from Hoon on said hero, 0 deaths. It seems like it was worth it, Liz.
Well,
where are we going from here?
I'm sure it was. But man, an amazing game, and I'm wondering what type of adjustments that Area 77 needs to make here. The thing is too is the Farja there needs to be something else in there to kind of help out with the Farja to be able to kind of create that opportunity for the Farja to shine. We can't give that to BTK. That's just out of the question. We saw how they did. We saw how they did with the last game. The first game that BTK won, where the Farza was just raining hell on all of them. And that's because they had all of that opportunity. The Hilda was doing a good job. Maybe that's another option too, is that maybe the Hilda needs to be a focal point for Area 77. Because Wild Chicken, it feels like we weren't talking about him too much. I mean, he started that game with 4, 1, and 0, I believe, and was just having such a huge effect in that early game as well. The first time that they had their victory too, able to get to that back line, took a few more deaths that time, but he accomplished his goal, which was allowing Hoon the distance and the time he needed to be able to be effective on his mage.
I think the big tweak could definitely for Area 77, think about that front line a little bit more, right? Without the Jawhead, that's where they've been losing. Without the Kalea, that's where they've been losing. And BTK now is going for this tanky, front line that can just withstand the damage that Area 77 needs to bring. So that could definitely be the switch up. Maybe go for Hilda, maybe go for Hylos, maybe go for something that can really withstand the brunt of the attack that BTK is bringing.
Yeah, and right now it is on Area 77. They need to make those adjustments. BTK has made this a tie game right now. No game point just yet, and the pressure right now mounting for both of these teams, both needing to make those adjustments, but BTK in a little bit more of a comfier seat because they found something that works for them. So it's kind of on Area 77 to find the nooks and crannies in that game plan. Zuxin taken off the table here, and maybe that means that the Area 77 going to bring in that Farja again, especially when you have the Zuxin taken off there, but it just leaves other things open, especially that we've seen how prioed that Lucas was.
And it forces them to kind of first pick the Farza here. Because now with no Jushin, there's really zero counterplay to it unless they have an answer. I mean, you could give up the Farza and just go full. We're going to give Hoon a very hard time here because if they don't pick it up, BTK is definitely going to slot it in immediately. But Hayabusa still in the field. Lucas also still on the field. So once again, these trades are getting, the pool is getting wider and wider as we speak. But Area 77 taking a note from BTK. We're going to take this Lucas first.
Yeah, they take the Lucas here. I'm expecting the answer to potentially be the Farza. Oh no, it's gonna be the Valentina, and I wonder if this is something that it's kind of trying to bait out that Farza pick because it's a very early Valentina pickup. So it's kind of trying to bait out some of those other ones. All right, you get Farza, then we'll get a feathered airstrike as well. And is that something you want to give up? And especially having the Hayabusa out there, and now Area 77 taking that Hilda pickup away from Chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very clean from the side of Area 77. They've learned from their mistakes. Maybe just like it took 2 games for BTK to tweak, Area 77 is now tweaking themselves. They do go for the Cho once again. I don't know if this is questionable or not. I don't know exactly how to feel it or not, but finally, the lady herself, Esmeralda, does creep onto the field.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting too as well. You have 2 heroes that generate their own shield with the Hilda and the Cho. Not as much, and it does ward away some picks as well. You're not going to want to go with the Matilda. You're not going to want to go with Matilda. I've seen it before where they go into it. You're not going to want to go for the Harith as well. Phobius is another one that you probably aren't going to want to be big on. So it's going to be very interesting, and I like the preemptive strike here that BTK has out.
And Area 77 still needs to think about that mage, right? And now with gold laners getting banned out, they need to think about that as well. Kimmy taken out from Area 77, knowing that this could be a good first pick for Zia here. Now, I was thinking Eve from Area 77, but that can also kind of get targeted down now from this Esmeralda. Do you go for something a bit more, not as AoE, something kind of like the Valentina, something that can kind of get in the face and move around, something maybe more old school? We haven't seen Vex or Aurora in a very long time. Don't think those would exactly work with the Hayabusa on the field, but they have to look for something.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. The mages that play into an Esmeralda that can defend against that are gonna get countered by the Hayabusa. So and that's why I kind of like this kind of like matchup that we have here with the Esmeralda and the Hayabusa. And then we're kind of wondering, is the Farja gonna actually even be slotted here? Because it hasn't even been picked up in the first draft. And where is the protection for it? I'm not so sure I like it on the BTK lineup just because we have a lot of deep diving heroes on Area 77. And I'm not even sure I really like it on Area 77 just because you have an Esmeralda, you have a Hayabusa on there, you also have the Valentina who could pretty much duplicate your ability. So I think we might potentially see it walk.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough position for a Farza right now, and I think you got it right. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still comfortable, it still could be an answer, but it's a scary pick right now, especially picking up this Cho once again and not having something like the Hylos, not having something that can really be a wall. Area 77 might really have to switch gears. Maybe we see something completely new in the mage hands of NACT, because mostly it's just been Jushin Farza, right? So BTK now on the gun, they lock in the Harith for themselves, and now with the Esmeralda already taking, they are looking scary over there.
The only thing I'm kind of worried about is at what point are we coming in with this Harith, especially with the fear of a Joy Baj on that team. You also have a lock-in on Hilda who can use her ultimate to get that stun on you, and that can really upset a Zaman Force that you lay down as a Harith. Really, you lay down the Zaman Force, it's pretty obvious to everybody, Harith. Go for Harith, shut him down. And there's a lot of CC, a lot of the pushing power that comes out from ISO on this Lucas through his every single ability he has does some type of push, some type of CC, and pretty much puts you into a coma. So it's going to be very tricky, but if anybody's going to be able to maneuver around that, be patient with that, it should be Zia. And more CC stacked up as Shark picks up the Tigreal.
And crowd control has just seemed to be huge as a deciding factor in these past 4 games. Shark on the Tigreal yesterday was phenomenal. There wasn't a single implosion that he didn't catch at least 2 people on. They do finally fall back onto this Farza. How is it going to play out against so many heroes that can make it to him?
Yeah, and I want to say as far as compositions that really meld well together, I like the Wombo combo potential coming from BTK. You get the implosion, you have the falling star moon that can come from fried chicken, you've got the chrono trigger that comes from Azia being able to put that AoE damage down. Hoon can even do a lot of AoE damage if he needs to. So there is the potential there. If Shark can land those implosions like he was yesterday, Area 77 might have a rough time, especially with somebody that needs to be as stationary as Hunter on this Farja.
I mean, Area 77 just has to be careful about splitting up overall, but you don't want to stay together when you're up against an implosion. But here we go. Here at the NACT Grand Finals, the score is tied 2-2 between Area 77 and BTK. Who's going to take the next one?
Yeah, both of these teams right now, this is do or die. This is who's going to get you the momentum, who's going to give the breathing room they need moving into that next match that will be game point for either of these teams.
And Baj and Hunter already kind of helping out ISO. I wonder if that's a possible game plan as we move through this. Gold laners have been important. When ISO's not having a good game, Area 77's not having a good game.
I think that's been the truth for both marksmans as well. When Zia's been not hot, when Zia's been shut down, it's been the exact same story. And not just that, but they usually like to start off with Hoon, be able to shut him down very quickly and make their mark. And that puts all the pressure onto Zia, and then they go ahead and focus down on him as well.
Already seen some quick rotations from the side of Area 77, but both teams, I mean, the past couple games, it has been a slower start than what we saw in the first 2, right? BTK will look for some pickoffs, but it's not always in the first 2 minutes. I think both teams know what's on the line here. Normally there's at least 1 kill before the turtle, but this time we're looking at 0.
Well, that's because we don't have a freaking Jawhead on there to get in there. Speaking of which, we're going to dive in.
Ooh, a lot of damage does come in from Shiro. They're looking for Hoon. They're looking for the target. Reshi able to get the first blood. Moving on to best player now. Hunter flying up with the wings by wings, but Shark pushes him away with a very well-placed skill. Now Fly Chicken also looking for a target of his own, but the fight disperses.
Yeah, and this is the value you get out of a Lucas. Like I was talking about, and Shiro actually in a little bit of trouble here. Joybaj with the quick recovery, able to peel for his jungler.
And now Shiro has to go back to base. BTK are going to probably try to rush down on this turtle. Hoon also in the fight. I don't think Joybaj and Yureshi should stick around too long for the Spear Destruction. Also ready to line up. A best player takes the turtle.
Yeah, Spirit Destruction came in there. I was actually a little worried that we'd be having a 5v4, especially with Zia kind of returning to the base to kind of get that. Feathered Airstrike comes down, puts a little damage onto Joybaj, and now going to force him to go home.
Yeah, so BTK finding some rhythm in the start of this match. A small gold lead, but still the map control is there. Shark looks for the pullback, just misses it though.
Yeah, look at the push out, being a little nuisance at the purple buff, was not able to find it. Hunter in trouble.
Ooh, just gets away. If that kill happens, it's trouble for Area 77.
Yeah, once Hunter goes down, I want to say you lose a huge amount of superiority when it comes to the distant damage that you can output.
I mean, and that's if he goes down in the first minute or two, you're back in 7 seconds. But now that we're getting to a mark where gold is going to start really matter, you don't want to die at this point of the game. This is where every wave matters. This is where the clock's getting a little higher on those deaths, and it's trouble if you're taken out.
Yeah, big thing here that I'm noticing too is BTK still managing to kind of head up when it comes to farm right now, even though they do have that one death. They're doing a great job trying to get that positioning, getting that information. It's allowing Zia. Zia's doing very well right now against ISO, and once he's able to kind of come online in some of these fights, it might be turning things really around, and Area 77 needs to be prepared for it.
Yeah, the range on that Fission is troublesome, especially for something like a Moskov, who's a pretty short-range marksman. The poke of the Harith can just kind of keep him at bay, and we've seen Zia, when we've jumped up there here and there, choking him out on a minion or two, and that's starting to stack up.
Yeah, he's got just 400 gold over ISO right now, but I mean, that's going to start stacking up here. BTK, and I'm wondering, as we move in, next turtle is up. Feathered Airstrike out on Hunter.
We're not going to be able to get away from this one. The Feathered Airstrike, the Shadow Kill, it all lined up perfectly, and Fly Chicken rotates up as well. Joybaj looking for Best Player, does get the kick, but no one's there with the damage. Best Player finds Joybaj in the midst of it all. Spear Destruction does come down, but ISO is not going to commit to that one.
Yeah, Joybaj did a great job, got the kick, but like the rest of his team had already pretty much backed off. That just allowed, I mean, Best Player was never in any real damage there, as 4 members pretty much just collided down around Best Player to kind of ensure that he was able to get away.
And was started as 300 gold, turned into 1,000, and now we're looking at 2K gold lead. ISO very low. Hunter able to come up and try to save the day. The Feathered Airstrike does come down onto Hoon. Can he get the last hit? Hoon immunes it, able to just get away, and Shiro falls off screen to Best Player as well.
Yeah, BTK doing a great job here, and I love the fact that Hoon, Hoon seems to be doing better when it comes to the Feathered Airstrike than Hunter is right now. He's able to get it off faster. Zia in trouble here, getting sandwiched.
All right, a little bit of damage onto Hunter there. Oh, not a lot of damage actually onto Hunter there. Samon's Force does drop. Area 77 once again on the back foot, and the gold just keeps on escaping. They're not keeping it at a standstill. BTK is running away once again with this game.
Yeah, and about a 1K gold lead there for Zia, starting to create that gap, create that rift between him and ISO right now. And we've been seeing this the whole game, even without the help from BTK. Zia's been able to push into that. Another Feather Airstrike out on the field.
Ooh, Baj is able to get the kill onto Hoon. That's a little bit helpful. A kill when you're losing is a kill in the book, and that's a good one in my eyes. Area 77 just need to back off now.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to having about a 4K deficit against BTK here in the 6-minute mark, it creates a little bit of that breathing room. 32 seconds, though, left for this turtle, and I'm wondering if Area 77, like we were talking about, there's just not really that front line, and that's the problem when you have the Cho out there. Joybaj's gonna have to get out of here. Best Player, I think, already used that Shadow Kill, but still has 19 seconds left for this turtle.
I mean, your Reshi at this point has pretty much had to become the tank SOD. Well played by ISO to get the juke to get away from there. But as I was saying, Yureshi has pretty much become the tank, and he's doing well. He hasn't died yet, and when this comes into big 5v5s, he could be the thing that keeps Area 77 alive.
Yeah, but the problem is the immense amount of CC that comes from Tigreal. Another kick.
Ooh, they get the kill on the best player. It does go into the hands of Baj, but still, it is helpful. Look at the damage from Shiro. Hoon falls as well. Area 77 trying to tie up the game. If they can get this turtle, it could get them there.
And just like that, the advantage coming out for Area 77. Feathered Airstrike comes out. Fly Chicken having to get out of the way as Shiro collects the, I want to say, Area 77's first turtle.
Yeah, first turtle for sure. First turtle in a while. It's 7.5 minutes. Gold is back at a standstill. And just when it looks like BTK had another game in the bag, Area 77 brings us to a stalemate.
And the only problem here right now is that BTK has been able to make a little bit better macro when it comes to their advantage. They have a tower down at top. I want to say the tower's a little bit less health at mid as well. So, and that's what Area 77 needs to start focusing on, try to get some of those towers on, open up the map so that when those mistakes happen, there is less room for BTK to adjust on their back foot.
Zia knew that was. I got to give it up to ISO and Zia. They have been so good at smelling these ganks coming. ISO earlier just knew best player was in that tri-bush. Zia knew that all three of them were flying up that way. They've done a great job at keeping themselves alive. It is 0 deaths on both gold laners.
Yeah, and that's something that needs to be on great marksmen. Ooh, conceal play coming out.
Yureshi getting a little taunted. Overall, still good from both sides.
Yeah, like when it comes to like a marksman, when it comes to being an XP laner, you need to be able to understand the minimap. When you don't see the enemy on your minimap, the assumption needs to be that they are all in your bush waiting to get the gank. And they are so good at being able to read those situations, and that's what makes them such great marksmen, because they don't often get caught.
Ooh, Baj is hunting right now. I don't think they know Hunter's there, though. Fried Chicken taking a little bit of damage. Best player as well. Shiro pushing the way. Shark making his way as well. Area 77 backs off. We are down to 4-4, and both teams are now kind of taking it easy. They're looking for plays, but no one's overcommitting.
Yeah, and the thing here that's crazy to me is even though that went even, you can still see BTK still starting to edge ahead when it comes to the gold. They're farming. Their macro is just so impressive, and Area 77 starting to fall behind. If they lose a fight, that gap is just going to be created even farther.
And watch for the split push. Big pick kick from Baj, but he misses, and Zia gets the kill. Now Hunter falls next. Spear Destruction does connect, but it's a no-way go. Stay away. ISO destroys the tower, but this Lord should fall into the hands of BTK.
Oh, and I wonder where the value is. Do we applaud the fact that ISO was able to get that tier 2 tower, but they lost a team fight. They lost 2 and a turtle to BTK for that.
And now they're losing a tower, so even though you get both those towers on the top side, you're about to lose another one along with Yureshi. Hunter and Baj trying to come in to help out, but yes, that is definitely a win for BTK.
And that's kind of sometimes the problem that kind of happens with the decision making that happens with a Moskov. Do I join the fight that they're already losing? Do I try to push up here? Would I have made the difference if I had joined that fight earlier? And that's kind of the interesting thing here right now. Area 77 having a little bit of problems. Lord starting to make its way down as best player launches in.
Shiro on his own, looking for the outplay. 1v4, gets the hit, able to take out best player. That is huge for Area 77.
Oh, maybe a little too eager by best player. Goes in, and we've seen this before, especially when it comes to Hayabusa. You really want to get into that back line, but unfortunate for him, his back path from that quad shadow was already covered. Shiro was right there to kind of get the gank onto him. Best player still sitting at 4-2-1, but it's those types of mistakes as we move later and later into the game that might cost you, especially once you start getting into Lord taking territory.
I mean, I think at this point, BTK is definitely still with control, but the Lucas is looking scary. This is why this hero was banned so much, because no Hayabusa, no Joy, nobody is doing that type of damage against 2 or 3 members of the enemy team by himself. I thought he was making a dumb play. He proved me wrong.
Yeah, and this is the problem with Lucas, and this is why he's probably my tier 1 S-tier most hated hero. Shiro actually in trouble here. Feathered Airstrike is out.
Oh, tries to go for it, but I am able to pull up this time. ISO dashes in, looking for the hit onto Fried Chicken. Fried Chicken able to get away, the implosion to respond. Shark now might be in a bad spot as Zio and Hoon try to reposition, but unable to do it in time. Shark finally falls, but it's a tank for a jungler, and now possibly an EXP laner as well, as Zia dashes in with his Mons Force. Best player there as well. Zia gets the kill onto ISO. Best player finds Hunter, and members of Area 77 are dropping like flies.
Oh, the patience from Best Player. He learned his lesson. He came in, he saw the fight, and this time he waited. He was patient, waited for the rest of Area 77 to get very low. Then he came in with that shadow kill, caught himself a double.
I mean, that is huge. Area 77's doing what they can. They're finding little moments here and there, but BTK's patience, the ability to extend these team fights and know when they can recommit is just buying them so much more than Area 77 can get.
Yeah, and right now they're going to go ahead and start on this. Lord Hoon took Lucas's ultimate there. So we're going to wonder if this comes in.
Pure Destruction does connect, but he does not commit. Finally in, looking for Zia. Best player able to find Shiro. Now, ISO on the run, but taken out. Zia with another kill, a double for Best player, and it is looking rough for Area 77.
Hunter and Joybaz, the 2 left on the field, quickly finding this game, slipping from Area 77 fingertips. Lord about to burst through mid.
Joybaj and Hunter against the world right now. 10 seconds on the clock for the rest of the team, and Baj is bursted down. Hunter looking for the reposition, but it's just too much. BTK are the first team to secure match point.
And just like that, BTK, I want to say, and BTK fans finally probably able to let out that sigh of relief, a little bit of breathing room for them when it comes to these potential next matches.
And I mean, at this point, BTK continues to dominate. Even with the Lucas slipping through the cracks, even with the Hilda getting taken away, you know, what is the tweak that can happen for Area 77?
There needs to be an answer that I don't even know where you go from here. The Farsha was not an answer. They tried to take there needs to be protection for the Farsha to be able to kind of rain down the damage. Hunter, it feels like when Hunter has a bad game, it's being taken down. We talked about ISO as well. When ISO has a bad game, he didn't really have a terrible game, but he was definitely outclassed by the Harith on there. Maybe we need to get away from this Farsha pickup. It did look like even BTK was going to kind of let that slide. They went with the Valentina pickup as well, instead of picking up the Farsha, pretty much baiting out the Farsha pick as well.
Yeah, I think another thing we have to look at, right, is Baj on this show, Baj on these aggressive roamers, because you said they need protection for the Farza, you need protection for Hunter, you need protection for ISO, and it's just not there right now. Yureshi can't do it all on his own. Baj maybe has to, you know, hit the brakes a little bit. You don't always have to be the playmaker. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, pull a chicken or pull a shark and pick up the Hylos or pick up the Tig, pick up something that just kind of protects your team instead of trying to attack nonstop.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue here too as well. Some of those playmakers, not only, it's kind of a double-edged sword, is you need to be making some plays to make this pick worth it. You need to be aggressive with it. And when you're getting shut down, not only are you kind of negating the pick, but you've also taken something away from your front line that Area 77 needs. That is very important. Here, they've been doing such a great job with this. I want to say BTK's done a great job with this double double tanky front line that they've been having. This time it was Esmeralda and Tigreal playing such an intricate role. We talked about it, you talked about it earlier with how well Shark was able to play it yesterday to get those great implosions. Here was no different as well. Once you group up, once you get in there into that fight, which Lucas loves to do, Shark is right there to get those implosions, get those pushes, and really kind of seal the deal for BTK.
Yeah, it really feels like at this point to where BTK was having so much trouble in the draft in the first 2 games, Area 77 just has 0 answers, and BTK always seems a step ahead.
Yeah, and right now, this is the point where Area 77 needs to make an adjustment. They need to figure out what that little code is, and it can't just be the one-trick Jawhead. And I understand that Joybaj is very great on the Cho, and even better when it comes to taking on assassins. It's just not a Hayabusa. Hayabusa has just been so great, especially with Best Player. You can take a look at some of these feathered airstrikes coming out there. BTK doing such a great job of being able to get out and create that distance that they needed once the feathered airstrike came out. And that's the problem for me as well. They have been trying to fill the role of what Jawhead brought. Jawhead comes in, gets the ejector, has that immense amount of damage. And they're trying to recreate that with the Cho here. And unfortunately, they're not able to find it.
Yeah, so, I mean, back to the drawing board. Oh, man, Best Player 2 on this Hayabusa, man. Best Player has been showing up these past 2 games, man. The guy on the Lucas last time, his ability to constantly control the off lanes and then come in at a flank, and now even here on the Hayabusa, you mentioned patience. He's been the king of it, always knowing when to join or rejoin the fight, and I think it was pivotal in the moments that mattered the most in this past game.
Yeah, he had a couple of little issues when he just tried to kind of like force an engagement, dive into the back line, and he paid for it. But like I said, there's those little moments that kind of happen that we kind of hope get like cleared up before long. But overall, the patience is there. He comes in, I see him into the fight, I see him pop in, and then he's like, okay, we're gonna wait a moment. We're gonna wait for the team to do what they need to, then I'm gonna get in once the enemy is low and get some of those good shadow kill dominations that we need, and he's been doing such a great job of it. I feel like here from Area 77, perhaps if we cannot find something to fill in for the Jawhead, maybe we need to come up with a completely different game plan. From this heavy tanky front line that we had, maybe we either match that or we find another avenue here. It's gonna be it's on the Area 77 to kind of to make that adjustment though.
Yeah, if it was up to me, I definitely think we don't. If there's no Jawhead, we don't go for the Cho. The Cho is not working. BTK have that figured out. There has to be a change up. It is match point at this time. They've lost 3 games in a row. It's all or nothing, right? The weight that's on this game for Area 77 to try to tie things up is everything. And do you really want to go out as the guy who just kept picking Cho until he lost, right? I don't. I wouldn't. I feel like you gotta try something else, because at least then you can say, okay, we tried something else, it still didn't work. We lost fair and square. We did our best, right? So there has to be something here.
Well, there might even be another answer that's not the Cho, because I even have a hard time racking my brain around why did Jawhead work where Cho doesn't? I know Jawhead in the early game had like this immense amount of damage that he can output, and I think it's possibly the burst that Jawhead brought at the beginning of the game that really made the difference, where Cho doesn't really have that. He just has the CC. So there is the potential for who he attacks to get away a lot more than there is when you have a Jawhead on the team.
I think just the mechanics of the ejector and everything are easier to pull off than trying to make sure you get. It's a little more instant. It's not your ultimate as well, so you just have a lot more. You have a lot more use of it. The Way of the Dragon, it's a little bit flashier. Yes, it's got a slightly longer range, I think, but overall, I think also the Jawhead's just a little bit tankier, and as you mentioned, the damage, there's so many reasons why I think it and Kalea, I think, are the only truly viable, like, pick-off roamers right now that you can boom, boom, bring someone back and make it count. Kalea works because you have the heal. You don't get shredded down, so there has to be something. Hayabusa does get picked up, though, on the gun, followed up by a Jushin and a Hilda.
Hayabusa Pride out there. And I agree with you too at your earlier points as well. If there is not a viable replacement for Jawhead, I think we need to abandon the strat and go with something a little better. I did like Yoreshi. I did like the tanky line that we had with the Hilda. Hilda was still doing the job that they needed to. It's just that it wasn't having as big of an effect. With this final draft, with this potentially final draft, Area 77 leaves open the Kimmy. Zia is very quick to scoop that up, and Fly Chicken with a very early Esmeralda. And I'm wondering if this, that's the thing, I'm wondering, is this an early Esmeralda pickup, or is it just a preemptive to block some of those potential picks?
I think preemptive, as well as it can kind of keep up with the Hilda in terms of moving around, in terms of rotation. You have a speed boost just like Hilda does. You have some way you can kind of stand there and take some shots from Hilda. You're not going to get bullied, right? And then as well as you said, it protects itself. But this Joy pick is dangerous against the Hayabusa.
Yeah, and this is what we've talked about, but we have different answers right now, especially with that little bit of shield that Joy gets with the electrifying beats. You're going to have the Esmeralda that's going to be right there to potentially be able to burst it down, but the timeline kind of comes into head for me right now. Joy gets the electrifying beats. How long before Esmeralda's able to take her down? And how much damage does Joy do before that happens onto your back line? So we're going to probably be looking for something else to kind of get in there. And potentially, I want to say best player is not, on the Hayabusa, you're not really trying to be the one that's holding the turtle. So we're looking for something else, possibly from Shark, that's going to be that other tankiness, that's going to be able, they're going to hold the turtle, they're going to try to get it down, and while best player bides his time in the background, waiting, potentially getting some more minions and stuff like that, and then he's gonna pop in, get the quad shadows, potentially get that shadow kill with the retribution.
So on the side of Area 77 here, with the Farza taken out, I like it. I'm wondering about Roam still, and I'm thinking you could just pick up something like the Hylos here. You could get a little spicy and maybe go for something like DeFranco to maybe get a Bloody Hunt onto the Hayabusa. I mean, they ban out the Hylos themselves, so they got to be thinking something. If they pick up the Cho, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. But hey, anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And maybe it's not the Cho that's the issue. Maybe it's the burst damage. But I mean, when we look at this team right now, when we look at this composition, it does not scream burst damage to me coming out from Area 77. It's a kind of a slow, methodical, and nice. And this is something I wanted to see, a completely different change up of it. Now we're going with what BTK was, a very thick, tanky front line, a lot of CC there as well, and a decent amount, a decent mix of damage that we can output.
And so now with BTK needing a mage, along with a roamer, the Tigreal gone, taken away from Shark here. The Matilda is still open, could pair well with the Kimmy, could protect the Kimmy from this Joy, could protect the Kimmy from this Hilda, and could definitely be an option for them. And then maybe just something like the Yves, something that Hoon is very well versed on.
Well, and for me too is like we need something early game too, because the damage in the early. There was a part of me that was wondering. There was a part of me that was wondering if Shark was gonna take the Cho from as well, not from Joybaz, but if it was left open, just take it. And this, yeah, just to kind of twist that knife in there, like this. This is how you play the Cho. And we're gonna see Hoon goes ahead, scoops up the Valentina here as well. My only issue, I guess the Valentina has the potential for the implosion. I'm not sure what other ultimate you would want to take as a Valentina here. My only problem is I don't believe Valentina gets the same type of defense from an implosion. So potentially you're having Valentina go in, get that implosion, and you're having a mage character that is very susceptible to damage.
Okay, a little bit of a pick at the end here. The Aerithil. And I thought we might see this earlier today against the Granger, but we see it here at the end. It has kiting capabilities, just like the Kimmy. You do get some burst damage. It's just how well is it going to verse up against the Hayabusa and against this Cho, who can definitely take advantage of it not having too much of a dash skill exactly, right? Yes, maybe you pick up the Flicker. Maybe you go for the Purify here just to play it safe.
Yeah, this is a different game plan that we've seen from the last few games from BTK here. Shark, this is going to be, honestly, this looks exactly like the game plan that Area 77 had in the last game. We're going to try to have Cho get in there, get the isolation. The rest of the team going to go in, try to get that burst. My only problem is the damage that we're looking for in the early game from BTK seems kind of lacking.
All right, after starting the series with 2 losses, BTK has brought us to match point. Area 77 need to tie up the series and bring us to a Game 7. NACT is known for going the distance in grand finals. Will it happen today?
Yeah, and that's the big point here right now. It's all on Area 77 to be able to bring this to a Game 7. BTK, we know, can go the distance, and this is already shaped up to a great grand finals. Area 77 done, I want to say, beyond the belief of a lot of people here to be able to get these 2 early games. But are they going to be able to find the reply that is needed for BTK?
I mean, for terms of just excitement, I sure hope so. I hope that we live up to it and it gets to a Game 7. And Area 77's draft is clean. They switched it up. They went for that tanky front line. The only problem I really have with their draft overall is this Aerithel and then Shiro maybe having trouble in the 1v1s against best player.
Yeah, we're gonna find out too as well. I mean, and that's something that too that we found out from the first game. Best player picking the Joy into the Hayabusa, and we saw exactly why you don't do that. Is because the potential is just the scaling is so much better for best player, especially when you're sending both junglers to kind of control the off lanes to get those split pushes in. The Joy is gonna lose almost every time.
All right, so if we're jumping into this, I mean, Area 77, do you take it slow here, right? Like, do you just kind of wait and buy time private?
We're going to see here Hoon comes in from the flank, but I mean, we were seeing last time when Hoon was on the Zeusin, they was very aggressive with it, especially when it came to those Crimson Beacons. Ooh, and this time, Area 77 very quickly grabbed that turtle. No reply from BTK.
I think it's a smart play. When you have the Jushin, when you have the Tigreal, you have a little bit more force in the field, and best player needs to get that Hunter Strike in before he's really outputting. Currently, the Joy still kind of wins out a little bit, and until best player has some damage to actually kill someone with that Shadow Kill, he can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, and I feel like the later and later this game goes, the more it kind of benefits a BTK when you have the Kimmy on your team. Once Hayabusa gets all of those items, once Esmeralda begins to be super tanky and able to dish out so much damage, I feel like we do need that aggressiveness. We do need to kind of keep that momentum in our favor, and especially with the Hilda on our team, which is kind of known for the fact that once you lose that momentum, once you're on the back foot, Hilda has a real problem becoming a benefit for your team.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's definitely true. So, but Yureshi's done a great job at like going, even last time he was on the Hilda, when they were losing, he was still deathless. He was still a great front liner. And if he can keep that up, now that they have the Tig as well, Hunter should have a good time in this game.
Yeah, and we can see here very respectful from both these teams. I think this is the first time we've gone 3 minutes from both of these teams without having a single death just yet. So both teams being very careful, very patient around these objectives.
You know, you mentioned earlier about late game really favoring BTK, and I definitely have to agree. It's not just best player, but it's also Zia. Zia's gonna, I mean, we've seen what Kimmy can do. Even if you have a tanky front line, Kimmy can output some damage. So the wild card in all of this is, will the Aerithel also, will that crazy crit damage come in key? Since it is a Cho, and it's not a super tanky front liner, it could be a way that they could burst through and find a way to the back.
Oh, best player onto the side, and Hunter goes ahead and uses that Crimson Beacon very early, right before the fight for this turtle.
Shiro with the electrifying beats, trying to bring it down. Shark does get the 3-man knock-up. Hoon also look for the Terrify. Look at the big implosion. Best player able to secure the turtle, but Shiro goes down as well. Fly Chicken getting the kill.
Yeah, they get the kill and the turtle, and what a well-played engagement there for BTK. Meanwhile, up at the top, that leaves the lane wide open for Zia. And he's just one of those marksmen that you do not want to just kind of be getting gold from you.
Yeah, Area 77 committed so much just for that turtle. ISO rotating down. It's a huge loss in the books right now because BTK not only still gets the turtle plus the kill, but a whole lot off that tower. It's a big dub for BTK in the first 5 minutes.
Ooh, Falling Star Moon comes onto Yureshi. He's not really too fearful of it. You've talked about it. He's very precise with that Hilda, very confident in his ability to kind of divert some damage.
All right, so Area 77 on the back foot. Best player doing what he does best, man. Just always on those off lanes. Could get caught off though. Shadow kill, look at the damage already on Shiro. Best player does drop, but he's close to being able to take him out with just one shadow kill.
Oh, there was a moment of hesitation where both members ran up and he still had that shadow at the bottom. The shadow disappeared and he was just stuck using his ult, hoping for the best. And unfortunately, taken down, getting Area 77 their first kill.
Okay, so 1-1 on the board. BTK holding about a 1.2, 1.3 gold lead. Still a very much tie game. Area 77 have been behind like this before. They need to not let it get too much farther ahead. This has to be the range. This has to be the limit.
Yeah, and right now being super effective with it. Even Shark, not exactly going crazy with trying to get those pickoffs. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get those upsets to interrupt the turtle fight. As soon as it gets kind of low, Shark goes in, gets the pop-up onto the team. And I feel like that's being a little bit more effective as Yureshi gets jumped by 4 members of BTK, caught right before this turtle.
I mean, I get the idea. Harass best player as much as possible. But it's scary to do, man, especially right before a turtle like that. You're giving so much over to BTK.
Oh, and right now, a prime job done. Fried Chicken able to put the damage, zoned out Shiro. Not even a question of being able to grab that turtle. We take a look at these items right now. Irithel sitting at 45,000, and Zia sitting at 5,300, doing a great job up in the top lane. And they even switched lanes already, swapped, and Zia goes ahead and gets the bottom lane.
I mean, Zia with a full 1,000 gold over ISO. That's bad, man, because we were already talking about late game looked good for BTK. Well, that late game Christmas is coming early right now. Shark able to get the way of the dragon on to Joy Baj. Baj tries to get the implosion off, but it might not be enough. Wait a second, might be able to get the kill. Hunter able to pick up Shark. It's a 1-for-1, roamer for roamer. You're actually just trying to get away. The damage is still coming out from Zia, and best players only just showing up to the fight.
Oh man, and I love the focus and how quickly Hoon is coming in with those implosions. Best player goes in, finds a kill onto Yureshi.
White Chicken able to find Hunter as well. It's 5-2, make it a purple buff for best player as well.
Oh, actually, Zia stole it with that little dash away. Shiro tried to go deep onto Hoon, but not able to find the kill. I mean, it's doing such a great job, and I feel like in the past when it comes into these, what is happening is Hoon is just being able to find these implosions much faster than Joybaj is on this Tigreal right now. And that is being the big issue. You saw Joybaj, he's able to get his implosion out after Hoon, but by that point, you've already taken so much damage, he gets bursted down immediately, and then his team follows very quickly.
Yeah, so Area 77 on the back foot for the 4th game in a row. What is the answer, right? We saw some nice damage come out from ISO a minute ago, but it's going to be some time. Luckily, he hasn't died, and he needs to definitely not die. But best player continues to look for pickoffs. Hunter continues to have a bad game.
Ooh, and Yureshi has dove it on, looking for the
best
kill.
Player. Nice. Joybaj able to get the kill on that one, but it's not into a good hand. Zia finds Baj, and that's exactly who you want it to fall into. Yureshi will fall next as Zia picks up a double, putting him at 3-0 and 3, and now they're on the chase for Shiro.
Oh, and a nice flicker into it. Shiro narrowly gets away there, but it opens up the Lord of Shark getting a little greedy there. A little bit of protection they need, but they are going to be able to get themselves a free Lord here.
Yeah, free Lord, a couple kills. They got a value deal on that one. And Hunter, man, you're by yourself. I don't know if this is safe for you.
Oh yeah, but this is the kind of the value. I mean, especially on a Zushin, she can kind of hold her own before Shark gets there. I want to say when Shark's on the distance, and this is crazy too, because this is exactly what Area 77 wanted to do last game, but they weren't able to be as effective. And BTK pretty much putting on a clinic now.
Yeah, and I mean, and at this point, right, Area 77 has tweaked everything they can tweak. They've picked up the Tigreal. Shark is on the toe right now. The hero we were doubting, and BTK is ultimately just outclassing Area 77 in game number 6. Area 77 has to find an answer, and once again, they're caught in this hole of just trying to buy time.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of comes down to. When you're not able to make play, Shiro in trouble. Full shadow kill onto him, but enough a defense for him to be able to get away. But when you're caught only replying...
A lot of damage onto Baj, a big kick from Shark, and the implosion from Hoon. Area 77 is helpless in the face of BTK right now. Shiro at least finds fried chicken in the midst of the chaos.
Oh, Zia is finding these ultimates, a smack dab right onto Area 77. I think he got 4 members with that last one, and that allowed a lot of damage to come out from him. But like as I was saying before, when you're caught on the back foot here, you're forced only to turtle. You're waiting for some type of mistake from BTK. Potentially might see it come out from best player, but I mean, he's kind of cleaned up his act there. We haven't seen him make any dives on Hayabusa that he shouldn't have, and he's being patient enough. Ooh, Shiro actually goes in there, able to snatch away that purple buff.
He needs that one, especially with how this game is going. Every buff, every creep, and we're even seeing Shiro kind of take the side routes, looking for minions. But look at the kick on ISO. Best player with a quick takeout. Yureshi might just be next. Zia also holding down the front line. They're going to look for this tower.
Oh, Shiro in trouble here.
Hero on the run, should be able to get away. Hoon tries to get the Terrify, able to secure it. Best player comes in and takes him out, chops off his head. Bloodthirsty Kings will not stop.
And just as you said, he should be able to get away. Best player had other plans, comes in there with the quad shadow, immediately gets the kill, sitting at 4, 2, and 4.
Oh, another big kick from Shark. The Purify does come out from Hunter. He will be safe for a moment, but quickly that is taken away from him. ISO now trying to defend all alone, but the poking from Zia is just too much. The Terrifies from Hoons. The shadow kills from Best Player. They just don't stop. Area 77 finds no time to breathe.
Yeah, right now looking at a 7k gold deficit for Area 77. Only their high ground towers, the entire map is opened up. They can't get minions. They're being starved out, and BTK is just waiting for a time to execute on them. This is going to be a clean and easy Lord for BTK.
I mean, what do they even do at this point? Because you mentioned it from the very beginning. Late game is not in the favor of Area 77. Zia right now is 5-0-3. His stacks are through the roof. He's executing even the tanky members in the front line. He's got his Holy Crystal in. I mean, Shiro just got his 3rd item in. It is trouble. It is looking like this could end soon.
Yeah, and especially at 12-4, such a huge deficit. We've talked about this before, and this is the unfortunate truth about Mobile Legends when it comes to kind of strategies like this. Now we're at a point, though, and I have to retract my statement about trying to be patient. I think we're at a point now where we need to make a play. We need to make something happen here, or BTK is slowly going to tighten that noose around us at this base. Lord coming to the high grounds.
Yeah, Joy Baj needs a Keyboy implosion right now. He needs something that can just change everything. We're talking at least 3 or 4 players. He looks like he's going for it. He finds 2, but the Purify connects. Fried Chicken able to get away. Best player is taking out Yureshi, able to lock down. Shiro on the backside.
Shiro
as well. He's still going. Area 77 trying to turn the tables, and they're able to succeed. Fried Chicken falls, and they buy another few minutes on the clock.
I promise you, folks, this is not scripted. That just happened on its own, but it is exactly what we were talking about. We needed a play to be made by Joybaj. He came in, found the implosion with the flicker, got the team down, and the rest followed quickly. 3 kills on the board for Area 77, able to swing this to within a 4K gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but they're going to get towers with this. They're going to create space, but they cannot overreach themselves. If they get this tower, it might be time to back off as quick as possible.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is there is still a pretty wide advantage for BTK, and this is what we talk about when it comes to their macro, especially in North America. It is more than enough to kind of get them that space that they need so that even a mistake that happens is able to kind of, they still have a little bit of comfort. But man, what a pause to come in for such to come in.
Oh, we all get a breather. All the viewers out there, take a deep sigh, deep in breath, let it out. You know, we get a second. I know it feels like it's taken away from the hype, but you said it, man. I called it. He makes the implosion. It wasn't even, I mean, if it was 3 members, it could have been really bad, but it was 2. It was enough. It was able to help Shiro get into that back line, take out Zia, and once Zia was gone, they had the advantage.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. There's certain points where when it's not game point, where, all right, let's sit back, let's let them make the mistake. You're at the last possible Lord that's about to be pushing in. The time is now. Make a play. Try to make something happen. It's better than allowing BTK to come in and get those kills. And a Joybaj executed to perfection there. It even looked pretty bad. Caught 2 member, Purifies went out, they were able to get back, but the rest of the team just responded quick enough to be able to turn the tables there.
I mean, give us some game 7 hype. We are going to have a few minutes. We're troubleshooting some issues. A little bit of issue with one of the phones. Things will be back up shortly, but for now, you get to hear me and Private Dancer yap a bit. What's the next talking point?
Right now, it's what does Area 77 need to do to continue this advantage with what they have right now? I think you kind of nailed it on there. Joybaj, it's on Joybaj. Joybaj needs to find it. He needs to be more aggressive than Hoon is being with his own ultimate.
It feels like it's always been on the shoulders of Baji Boy. It's always been on the shoulders of Joybaj, and if he can make the play happen, it can definitely turn things into Area 77's hands. ISO also kind of coming online now, and I think that's going to be huge as this game goes forward. The moment Shiro got that Holy Crystal in too, he was able to actually take out some people in the back line.
Well, yeah, and especially once they all kind of closed in around, I think there's also a mistake that was made by BTK to kind of get so close and got a little greedy with that back. But we're taking a look at some of these replays here. Baj comes in with that implosion, but it was already very low. When it comes to a lot of these team fights, like I've been saying, Hoon has been doing such a great job of using that implosion, which seems almost better than Joybaj was. And that's not, I don't want to say that this is like all on Joybaj, it's all his fault, but it just, it's when it comes to teams of this caliber, you need to get the value out of that Tigreal.
Yeah, you definitely have to, and that's, I mean, it's huge, right? Because otherwise he's essentially just a walking, bulky minion, right? And once he did get that implosion, look how quick everything changed. Now, as you said, it's not just all on Baj. Yureshi did a great job in this fight that we saw right here. He was able to get the final hit on the best player. Shiro stepped up, was able to get into the back line, and it finally feels like Area 77 is able to win out in some team fights if they make the plays happen. That 7, that big gold lead, in the past couple games, it felt like there was nothing they could do. But now they're at a point in the game where even if they if they're able to make a play happen, they can at least win out a fight.
Well, and that's the thing here right now. This is not BTK's advantage anymore. This is either team. Whoever makes the play, whoever makes that next play, I believe has this game in the bag. It's just have Area 77 fully recovered from the deficit that they're at? Do they understand that they also have an advantage here?
All right, wait a second. Baj able to get another implosion. A lot of damage on a Fly Chicken. Shiro gets locked up by Hoon with an implosion of his own. The IMU, but Yureshi's trying to collapse. Winter Truncheon comes out. Now, Zia in a safe spot, but here comes Shiro looking for it, but he is unable to get him, and that could be huge. The response, but Zia still falls. It's 2 for 1. Area 77 still winning out in these fights.
Yeah, they won out, and then it almost was looking a little grim for Area 77 as they were very late to try to take down Zia. He was able to get that passive off, and that damage was spraying all over them. It looked pretty bad, and as soon as Best Player was about to come in with that Hayabusa to clean up the entire team, that's when Shiro dove into the back line with the Joy and turned the responsibility that Best Player had, and now he had to answer that Joy instead of getting the kills onto the team like he wanted.
Yureshi's taking him for a run right now. Will he be able to get away from this? The Shadow Kill does come out, but now Baj with the implosion, and ISO rains down chaos. 2 members drop. Shark tries to find the kick, but now Fly Chicken is on to ISO. ISO just dancing, looking for some more strikes. Hunter with the Crimson Beacon, but ISO finally falls as Zio takes him out. It's 2 for 2 right now. We are still living on a stalemate.
Yeah, that was a very shaky engagement by Fly Chicken. He comes in and you're like, oh man, he's gonna be able to take down ISO. Wait, ISO's surviving pretty long here. And even tried to get some help there from Hunter, but eventually able to return the favor is BTK, but both teams looking with 2 players down. However, the jungler for BTK, the most important role here when it comes to some of these objective fights, down for BTK.
I mean, I'm still speechless. If we go to a Game 7, I'm losing my mind. I don't even know. I don't know what to do. And the thing is, Zia is still a major problem, and look, Shiro still trying to make his way to the mid. Shark gonna try to delay him. Lord down about 20%. Shiro gonna try to dash in. It's all on the line. This could be the Lord that decides the whole game. The implosion does land from Hoon. The IMU. Lord still up. Zia able to steal it away. Able to take it. Zia finds Yureshi. He finds Joy Buzz. He finds Area 77 as Hunter's in the backside, but now Shiro is responding. The electrifying beats able to lock onto Hoon. He takes out Hoon. He's looking for more. Can Zero be the hero? They do fight back. It's 3 to 2, but a Lord will be coming for Area 77 soon. Does Area 77 just try to push on?
Yeah, Area 77 has shown the light has not gone out just yet. There is still life left in them, looking for the push, not willing to go down without a fight. ISO taking a lot of damage!
ISO, what are you doing? He goes too deep, he's taken out, and now with the Lord coming towards Area 77 and Best Player Hoon and Z about to be on the clock, it's looking grim for Area 77.
Oh, wave management, attention to that mini-map. The entire team of Area 77 turned around because minions were knocking on their core, and unfortunate for ISO, gets carried away into the front line and taken out, especially with the Lord now marching, which has actually been taken down, bursted down pretty well by Area 77.
And look at Yureshi in the back here, just trying to delay them as much as possible. Here comes the conceal play. Fine, we'll take the bait. We'll take Yureshi.
Yeah, they take Yureshi. I mean, I don't think that's going to cost Area 77 too much here. And I almost kind of question, like, I understand if the Lord was still coming down, yes, I understand Yureshi still being there. But at that point, maybe kind of would have just gone back that base. Not that it's going to hurt them too much here with this defense. I mean, I say that now with all 3 lanes starting to crash into Area 77's core.
All right, let's see what happens. Area 77 on the defense right now. BTK just trying to close it out. Hoon with the implosion. Hunter falls. Zia closing the distance. The base is at 60%. ISO looking for anything he can, but that is it. BTK still reigns supreme. After taking 2 losses, they still find a 4-game sweep, and they're on their way to MSC.
Even with Area 77 pulling out all the stops that they could, even with them going to their own boot camp, bringing all the plays together, they could not top the standard in North America, the Bloodthirsty Kings.
What a series. It didn't go 7, but 6 games of high-packed action. Look at BTK right now. I love the love. It wasn't as crazy as a pop-off as last time, but there was some respect between these 2 teams, and that's what I like to see.
Oh, exactly. That was something I was going to mention. As soon as Area 77 saw the cord go down, they all stood up, started clapping, and giving that respect to BTK. It's not the drama that we're used to in North America, but I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. You take a look here, ladies and gentlemen, these are the faces of your North American champions.
Let it sink in, right? Let it hang for a second, because these are the 5 players we're going to be sending back to MSC, back to the desert, back to Riyadh to fight for NA. And these are familiar faces. Of course, best player now part of the roster. And honestly, I feel comfortable with him jungling for them.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was the question here, is will best player have those issues that we have seen from him in the past? And I think I want to say here, best player kind of proved to himself, and especially being with the team that he has been comfortable with, that he has the history with, like these guys, under a different name. I don't care if it's Outplay, I don't care if it's Gaming Gladiators, the Ohio brothers here. He looks so comfortable here, and even now wearing that flag of BTK.
I mean, once again, we have attracted views from around the world for an epic NACT finals. I know casters from around the world, Naisu, Leo, they've been tuning in. Big shout out to everyone. I mean, it's been a great series, Private. And even though BTK came in as the favorites, Area 77 always kind of felt like they had a chance. It's a great send-off to them. They didn't go down, you know, in a blazing 4-0 sweep. They put up a great fight. So big salute to Area 77. Very well done. But today, BTK still continue to dominate the NAC.
Yeah, and that is something that is really important to me, is that that was a series that is respectable of the Area 77 legend and names that we have been brought up on here in North America. They took it to BTK in games that not everybody thought were going to go that way, especially those first 2 matches, forcing BTK. And I feel like there was a lot of tension there. They did not want to have to ban the Jawhead. They wanted to find another way, and eventually it's just like, all right, we need to do this. We need this game plan. And even in that last match, I want to say Area 77, it was very close to taking us to a game 7 there.
Yeah, after that implosion, after that big play, Area 77 turning things around, I thought for sure, I was like, oh man, the NACT curse is still here. We're going to game 7. We're going the distance. But BTK shows that they're more powerful than any tradition. They're more powerful than what anyone wants to bring. Taking a look at the stats, Zia, man, 94,000 damage this game with the distance, and it shows. Bahoon as well with those implosions. I mean, this just goes to show that every single player matters.
Yeah, and I want to say it's kind of crazy to me because Cho, he did get some isolating plays, Shark did, but I feel like he utilized Cho in another way that was just a little bit more beneficial. It wasn't on Shark to make the plays, and it wasn't just on Shark to make the plays. Hoon also played an integral role, and I think that's where the difference lies between BTK playing this Cho pick and Area 77 playing, where it was completely on the back of Joybaj, and when he did not get that play, it was spelling doom for Area 77.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we saw the kinks. I think Area 77 knows very clearly what they need to fix, what they need to work on. They saw some of the issues, and just like BTK, I think also saw those issues. After those first 2 games, they found a way to win, and they did not lose a single game after that. I don't care what team you are. 4 games in a row is not an easy feat, and BTK pulled it off.
Yeah, this one was at the 17-minute mark, very late, as BTK was having some trouble. But, I mean, they were able to kind of get the Lord. Hoon went in, gets taken out, but eventually able to take down Shiro, able to take down Yoreshi here as well. And that pretty much spelled the doom of Area 77 for this last match. A very exciting end and conclusion to this grand finals, but as most Americans, or most North Americans have voted when it comes to it, and you cannot hold down a team like BTK.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, no matter where it all goes from here, we know there are still some amazing players in NA. We know that NACT always puts on a great show. It's been a hell of a weekend, and every team has fought their hearts out. And I think a lot of us came into this grand finals thinking something less, but we got exactly what we wanted. Now, let's bring back our beautiful, wonderful host, Liz. How you feeling after that finish?
I mean, no one thought any less of Area 77. Just a correction there. I expected a best of 7 series that we always see in NACT Grand Finals, but at the end of the day, it was a best of 6 series. It went all the distance. We finally see no more zeros on that bracket. A very commendable performance coming in from Area 77, especially how they reacted after the last match. It showed enmity, it showed their respect for their opponents, as well as their maturity. So great job, Area 77. Great job to our champions, BTK. And let's take a look at the MVP of the series for BTK. It's going to be Best Player 1, coming in with a match KD of 5-5-11 and a match participation of 70%.
If there's any question in fans' heads, if Best Player has redeemed himself in this caster's eyes, I believe he has.
Yeah, if anyone wondered whether Best Player belongs, he definitely belongs. He looks good in black and red. He's going to look great in that jersey on the international stage. And I think we all have the utmost faith in him as he tries to take home some wins for NA.
And I believe this is the first time we're going to see Best Player joining in and putting BTK on his name as a representative of the Bloodthirsty Kings. We don't know what's the entire lineup that's going to go to the internationals, but very exciting. And what's more exciting, we have a post-game interview with the BTK boys. We can see them in their natural habitats, very excited after the series win. Congratulations, guys. Anyone up for an interview here?
Run MVP's ring!
Yo, Zia. All right, we got we caught Hoon first, and then Best Players right here.
MVP's ring!
Rigged. They're just mad that I got MVP. They don't know about the jungle. They don't know about the jungle.
They just certainly have not stepped foot into the jungle. Zia, who do you think the MVP should be? Zia.
It's either me or who? That she rigged!
Oh wow, Zia, come back, Zia.
Okay, look.
Well, we lost the
MVP
Pikachu.
should be anyone but. Joke line. He deserves it. Yeah.
Yeah, great performance coming in. We almost thought we lost you guys there with the first 2 games. Can you tell us what happened there in the first 2
You're
games?
actually hacking my Wi-Fi. We keep spiking, dude.
Put the joint in the bag. Put the joint.
Oh, that sounds like some excuses right there.
Hold it.
You guys finally.
Kalia, Gigi. Jahed, Kalia, Gigi.
Ban Jawhead, take Kalia, and you get Jushin. So good job, everyone. First up, can we have Best Player here, since you're already here? Best Player,
Yes.
how are you feeling now going to Worlds and returning to World Stage?
Well, EWC I never qualified for, so I'm extremely happy. Also, I'm excited to meet Malaysia there. Moontang, give me Malaysia. I need Malaysia. I need it.
You want Malaysia? Why? We saw you did a little stream against Team Vamos in the grand finals. Is that why?
Yeah. Well, it was mostly for jokes, but the fans, they took it too seriously. So now I want it too. Why not?
All right. We might see that, luck has been playing into NA's favor with these drafts. You have now another chance to prove yourself in front of the world, arguably for the most important, at least in the prize pool component, tournament. Who are you? Well, what excites you the most this time to prove yourself?
Well, my past performances are obviously, horrible group stages. What I want to do is just, I want to make it out of groups. I want to make NA proud, you know what I mean? I want to go out there with this team. I love this team so much. I couldn't have done it without this team.
Bro, we're not letting you hit, bro.
Shut up, bro. Yo. So yeah, that's the main plan. You know, I'm with my best team in NA. I want to go out there make NA proud. That's it.
Yeah, and who is your current favorite to play in the jungle role?
Maybe Higher or Joy. Definitely.
Yeah, we saw how well you played that Haya Busa right there. Do you have a new work routine right now?
Wait,
Workout routine right now. You look great. This is from our Assassin Dave. This question.
No. Well, maybe on the low. Who knows? So I got to put some time in.
And we're excited to see that. Can you grab one of your teammates to join us for an interview?
Shark.
你好. My hair gonna look bad,
Super
bro.
Shark. Your haircut can't look worse than mine. How are you feeling about going to every single world or almost every single world that NA has the opportunity for?
I mean, I don't expect much. I know I go every tournament anyway, so I just play and go, yeah.
This has been your stage to shine. Is this your favorite roster among all the different iterations you played in?
Gotta miss MOBA. Don't say it. I'm joking, but
MOBA?
yeah, they the best. They the best team I ever have. Yeah, we don't have a three-hero jungle anymore.
Whoa there. You just said you missed MOBA, so don't push it there. And are there any party plans now that you guys won?
You know, we are good kids. We don't drink. We just drink water. We will have maybe a seafood party after this.
Seafood party this time. Interesting. You know, I doubt that, but you guys are having a seafood, a water party. That looks like some very interesting water there. Can you grab another teammate? Grab another Pikachu here.
Pikachu, right here. Well,
Can we get Hoon to join us?
let's see.
Or Zia?
Hello.
Zia, how are you feeling now? Are you no longer sick after the victory?
I'm still sick. I don't have voice yet.
Yeah. Were you able to scream and shout during that with your teammates just now?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how are you feeling now going into the world stage and returning to the MSC stage this time?
I mean, it's my first MSC, so it feels pretty good.
Mhm.
So.
Are you
it's the
excited
first
to
time
go to
winning.
Riyadh?
Yep.
It's your first time winning.
For like 2 years
Well,
for MSC qualifiers.
oh yeah, that is a good point. As a team, this is your first time going back to MSC, so it is very exciting. Any plans right now between now and going to MSC?
Now, I think we're just gonna chill for a bit, then probably
Mhm.
plan for boot camp. Probably
Mhm.
that.
Ooh. Can you bring Chicken to tell us more about that boot camp?
Chicken!
What's up?
Yo, Chicken, congratulations on that victory. We wanted to ask you some questions. So first up, what was the biggest reason for BTK's struggle in games 1, 2, and a little bit in the game number 6?
1 and 2 were drafts, and 6 was half the team zoning out.
and what happened there? How did they zone out?
I don't know. How'd you zone out, sir? How'd you zone out, sir? But I don't know. Maybe it was longer the series. They got worn out. It could be several reasons.
Yeah, you guys pulled through at the end. Is there a boot camp plan for the team? Well, Z already said there is. What is the boot camp plan gonna look like?
I mean, it's not a good idea to schedule like that, all that kind of stuff before winning. So now we're actually gonna figure out all the details. But like, we do want to boot camp.
What do you think is going to be different for this boot camp compared to your previous boot camps?
I don't know.
Less partying?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
And for you personally, what is your number one focus this time during the bootcamp?
I think hero pool. I think in M5, some of the newer heroes like Hilda, I was a little rusty on or not as good at, but I've been practicing them a lot, and I clearly just demonstrated my knowledge of them now.
Yeah, you showed it in your performance. And will Sir Rose be joining you guys this time?
Oh yeah, Rose is the goat. He helped us. Shout out Rose. Yeah, Rose helped us a lot, honestly. I think Rose is
Yeah, shout out to Rose. Rose is gold, and you guys got that Rose gold.
Gold.
For Hoon, last but not least, can you bring Hoon to the camera?
Sir. Kim Jong-un.
What's up?
Hoon, can you tell us how you're feeling right now?
Good, good.
Good.
Very nice.
Is very nice. You are going to MSC this time, returning to MSC since 2023. Is there anyone you look forward to meeting in EWC?
Um, Magnus Carlsen.
Oh, interesting. Anyone else?
Faker.
Oh, you
And
probably will catch Faker.
yeah, actually just everyone there. Everyone there is just so goated. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're lucky enough, you might get a picture with all your goats. A lot of people are actually saying that this might potentially be your last NACT. Is there anything you have to say to that?
I don't know. My back's starting to hurt, so might be, but we'll see. I think it really depends on how NACT is gonna look like after this one, because I'm hearing a lot of stuff about it. So I think it really depends on yeah, depends on the NACT.
Yeah, I mean, all we can do is hope for the best. You were talking about in real live stream when we met in the worlds in the past. Are we gonna finally see an in real life streamer Hoon?
Um, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to focus on the EWC for now. So
Mm-hmm. And if you were to do in real live stream, what do you think you're gonna be doing?
just gooning around, probably. Yeah, travel. I think. Um, yeah.
Yeah, travel will be very interesting content. We look forward to seeing you guys. Any last word the team have to say to all the fans out there?
Um, yeah, I mean, thanks for supporting us. Even though you know, this was a very short NACT, I think we tried our best, and then it was really great experience to win again. It feels really nice, and then big respect to Area 77 as well. They put up a really good fight, and yeah, thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys for supporting BTK and amazing performance coming in for the team. We hope the best for you guys. Thank you for joining us.
You're way better.
We got the wave coming in. It was an amazing tournament, guys. It was very short-lived, but Trex right now can finally put on and take out his BTK shirt with pride. No more hiding it with a blazer.
Just hot,
he just
man.
showed his
You ever wore a
love
blazer in
right
a garage?
there.
It's hot in here, man. It's hot in here.
Oh yeah. It suddenly got hot with the last few matches. So the Heat pulled through, BTK pulled through, and we got an amazing series from both teams. And for our casters, it's been great casting you guys. Any last words that you have to say to all the fans watch there?
Yeah, I know this was a very fast, very quickly put together NACT for you, but I feel like the excitement of it, especially here at the grand finals, every single day here was very exciting. From the first round that was so heartbreaking, and then to watch BTK still reign supreme, and the fight that was put up by Area 77. It has been an absolute pleasure for me to cast all of these events for you guys, and can't wait to see what else is in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun weekend. It's been a blast. NACT always seems to, bring us some exciting grand finals. And, the casters always put in hard work. The production always puts in hard work. The players always put in amazing hard work. So no matter what happens, I think we ask that the fans also put in hard work to help, keep things moving. And no matter what, we love all of you guys. And yeah, it was a great NACT.
Yeah, well said, guys. It was a great NACT indeed. A lot of fun with the talents, and it's great to see all the teams come through. New talents and new players rising to the occasion. And Area 77 indeed has shown that they are going to be looking at to be a top contender for next season as well. Now, for me personally, it's been an amazing journey once again as the host of the NACT. Had a lot of fun. Did a little bit of cosplay on the last day as well. I saw in some comments that you guys were saying my new haircut looks a little bit like Jujutsu, so I thought to pull this out all the way. I hope you guys noticed. We're doing a little lantern at the very end. It's been great, guys. Tret's just rolling his eyes at me.
Of course we noticed.
I mean, I thought it was obvious enough. But yeah, this has been great, guys. Make sure you tune in next weekend as well, because we will have the MWI, where we're going to see the women qualify for their chance at the internationals. So it's going to be a fun party in Riyadh this summer. We hope you guys continue supporting our players, supporting our team, supporting our talents. Make sure to follow all of us on Instagram. Just a little shout out there. And we're so excited to be in here in this journey with you guys. So best of luck to BTK in MSC, and stay tuned for MWI next weekend. We'll see you then.